Check 1, 2. There we go. Check 1, 2. Good Lord. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. Hello. Okay, all right. Working on it. Sorry, guys. And this we're going to delete. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay, can you hear me? Holy shit. All right. How's my audio? Loud enough? Hello. Welcome back. Sorry about that. A little bit of a hiccup to start things out. Very nice, very nice. Very professional. Is it loud enough for you guys? Okay, woo. Good Lord. That was a little bit stressful. I'm back. Tonight's streaming beverage, we're going with a Glenlivet 15-year to represent and reflect the amount of stress that I just felt restarting the stream. It's a Monday night, but got to celebrate, people. All right. Well, let's see if we can get a couple more people in here now that it's a totally different link. That sucks, but maybe people will see that I am live. It looks like we've got some folks in here. How's everybody doing? See Jeremy, we got Adam from Review Bomb, my boy Waffle Nova coming in as per usual. All right. So, why don't we get it started? 2025, it was the worst of times, and it was the worst of times at the cinema. This year, it kind of sucked, but I am not one of those people that's like, this was a total wash. Movies are dead. I really don't think that's true. It's just becoming increasingly hard to look in the right nooks and crannies. Adam says, you struggled to get the stream going sober. Are you sure you should be drinking? I'd like to think I'm on a good path now, and that I could just get inebriated and nothing bad is going to happen. I do have a co-host showing up any minute now, a special guest, as it were. Very excited to bring him in a couple minutes, but as for now, I'm just going to continue to lonely drink and set you guys up for what we're going to be doing here. That is good. That is good stuff. All right. So basically, I've got a couple lists that I want to go through here. Best and worst of 2025. Now, I am not the kind of person anymore who has the free time and wherewithal to watch every bad movie. Like if Minecraft comes out, me 5 years ago trying to be a movie reviewer, I would have seen that. Me now, with a very niche YouTube channel and with a baby that I am taking care of, it's become harder and harder to watch total crap on purpose. As it were, I've watched a lot of crap this year, but by accident. I thought most of it was going to be good. Turned out that I made some bad calls. So today's lists are going to be my best favorite movies and TV of the year. And then instead of worst, I'm going to go with most disappointing, because I think, especially if you are a creator like Adam from Review Bomb is in here, he could probably attest to the fact that this year was like rife with disappointments. It was a lot of stuff that on paper probably should have been good and turned out to be a load of shit. So I would like to go through some of those things, through the letdowns, and give an idea for what I saw. Now, I didn't see everything. That's the other caveat that I have to bring into this. Again, with a 4-month-old baby, my options are a little limited. I can't always go to the cinema. It's very rare I can make it to a movie. So, as it were, I tried to see as much as I could, and this is what we came up with. All right, Endon, welcome. He says, bring back Fat Dan. I'm trying, bud. I gained 25 pounds recently. The scale is starting to swing in the other direction. I need to start drinking more Seagram's Escapes again. That's really That's really, I think, what made me so fat in the first place. So I'm working back up to it. But doing 15-year scotch tonight. If you were here, Endon, you know we'd be drinking sugary Seagrams, or I would be drinking it by myself. I feel like you've sworn this stuff off at this point. Um, all right, so let's get started. What do you guys want to hear first? Favorite movies of the year or most disappointing movies of the year? What are we thinking, guys? Let's get group consensus here. Thank you, W4 Shep. I think were you the guy that just subbed to my channel? I've been talking to you over the past day or so, right? I think so. Good to see you here, man. We've got one vote for stay positive, start positive. We got one vote for disappointing, two for start with the good. Okay, I'm gonna take that as a consensus. We're gonna start with disappointing. Disappointing. This is a reference to the clip from Hercules. I'm assuming that I had on the soundboard when we had the podcast. Yeah. Okay. So we've got two for disappointing. We've got one vote for bring back Fat Dan. Start disappointing and end positive. Okay. New guy to the channel, W4 Shep. I'm going to go with you. We're going to start disappointing and we're going to end positive. So yeah, most disappointing movies of 2025, starting at the bottom of the list. Now, feel free to do a couple things during this chat. One, feel free to scream at me because some of these choices are really not going to sit well with some of you. I know a lot of people who aren't, familiar with me in reality and just know me from the found footage stuff and the niche horror stuff on my channel. I don't give a lot of normal movie reviews anymore. So a lot of this might be a little bit scary to some of you. Don't abandon my channel just because of the things I'm about to say. Dan Endon, Skinny Dan is the Marlon of TMB. That's true. He's like, he looks better, but his talents have greatly diminished, is what we're saying. This is good. This is actually a good place for me to trash the new version of the biscuits. I don't think this will lead to any public scrutiny because nobody's watching this, but yes, I am the Marlon of the movie blues now. All right. Most disappointing movies of 2025. Starting at number 10, Frankenstein from Guillermo del Toro. Now, am I a Guillermo del Toro fan? Absolutely. A couple nights ago, my wife and I watched Pacific Rim on my 3D TV in my basement. Blade 2, The GOAT. I love Kronos. I love all of his old work, especially The Devil's Backbone, which has always been in my top 5 horror movies ever. If you can see right here, we got Gypsy Danger hanging out with his big sword. So yeah, I'm a pretty big Guillermo fan. I have fallen off right around The Shape of Water till now. Has been kind of a rocky road. I think every director goes through the latter part of their career. We're seeing that a lot recently, with so many different directors where it's like PTA, it's kind of gotten into a point where it's turned into like more of an embarrassment throughout the later years. Hold on, here we go. Oh, he's sleeping. Okay, we had a guest host here, but I don't think it's going to happen. I was going to bring my baby on, but it probably isn't legal anyway. Anyway, PTA has kind of been producing work that I find weird over the past few years. And Guillermo del Toro is kind of in the same place where like I theoretically like what he's doing. Like, oh yeah, I'd love to see Guillermo del Toro create his magnum opus that he that he has wanted to make his whole life, but it didn't work for me at all. I thought that Jacob Elordi was a miscast. I think he was a little too slight and gentle and just didn't come off as the Frankenstein monster that I was picturing. He's kind of more like a YA, young adult, sexy Frankenstein that I didn't appreciate. And I thought that the movie looked absolutely horrible. It was shot on digital, which I think is an insane choice for a period piece where you've created all practical sets. I mean, they looked awful. It was kind of hard to tell what was even green screened, what was even real. Just found the whole thing to be kind of non-substantial and non-weighty. It just kind of went through one ear and out the other. I kind of was waiting for it to get good the entire time, and it just never did, and then it just ended. And And I'm a big fan of the novel. I'm a big fan of all the actors involved. I just think it was a lot of miscast. I think that Dr. Frankenstein himself was also a major miscast. I don't think Poe Dameron is a good actor, and I don't think that he was good in this. Um, he's got like weird short king energy that I don't appreciate. I just don't. I'm not buying anything that he's put out. Moon Knight I thought was god awful. So yeah, just a miss for me, and that's why it's on the disappointing list. Is it a better movie than Minecraft? Yeah. Okay. Yes, you've got me there, but it wasn't what I wanted, and it wasn't a movie that I really ever want to watch again. So yikes. Sorry if I've lost some of you on that one. That was my number 10. Um, Number 9 is Dream Eater. This was a movie that I've been hearing about for the better part of a year or two. It's produced by Eli Roth, who is a filmmaker that I greatly enjoy and typically trust, other than Borderlands, which I did not see, and I kind of doubt was fully his fault. But Thanksgiving, incredible. Obviously, the Hostel series, banging. I thought that he would be able to kind of curate a really good found footage movie. So Dream Eater was released in theaters right around the same time as Shelby Oaks. And just thought it was incredibly mid. I don't think you should ever put a fully fleshed out score into a found footage movie. It had just like a lot of weird musical cues and bad acting. And when you watch as much found footage as I do, you become much more sensitive to what works and what doesn't, what's unique and what's not, what pushes the genre forward and what doesn't. This just felt like anyone could have kind of cranked this out. I've seen so many found footage movies, even this year, that I found to be far more enjoyable, which some of which will show up on this list. So, Dream Eater, found that very disappointing. I don't know how you guys felt about that. I know a lot of people did like that movie, but I just don't think that they spend as much time scrutinizing these things as I do. And that's kind of the way it went. This next one's for Dan Endon, who says he's been cranking things out in the chat. That's good to know. Number 8, One Battle After Another. Man. Yeah, this one did not work for me. Obviously, fantastic filmmaking from a technical point of view, fantastic final third. Some of the performances were excellent. Sean Penn coming back and finally kind of acting in a movie that is of consequence and seems like is put him back into the spotlight, which I appreciate. I love Sean Penn. So that was good. I also thought that it was a good use of Leo. As I've said on the podcast and before in reality to many of my friends, I really think that Leonardo DiCaprio is at his best when he is self-deprecating. And this movie was like peak self-deprecating Leo. Really did enjoy his performance. Loved Benicio del Toro in it. That's kind of as far as I'm willing to take it. I thought it was kind of just like a vague, splotchy mess of like liberal wet dream nonsense mixed with highly overindulgent filmmaking. I think you could have hacked 40 or so minutes off of the runtime and still probably produced a fantastic movie. Look, it's better than most movies that have ever been made on planet Earth, but I really think that PTA is capable of much more. I think that Johnny Greenwood is capable of much more. It was such a sparse, minimal soundtrack that it didn't really stick with me. I mean, I guess you could levy the same critique against like There Will Be Blood, but there's something so like authentic and haunting and crazy about that soundtrack when in actuality it's just like this one was just actually sparse. Like it just felt like a lack of instrumentation. It was just a piano. And yeah, sure, it added to the tension at times, and sometimes it was effective. But I think it was a movie that could have benefited from like a Hitchcockian score, something like Vertigo, something that is like droning and involving, and it just it didn't really grip me. Other than that, I agree with Endon in the chat. Ari Aster did make the better Librotica of the year. I didn't dislike One Battle After Another because woke. I just think that it was so on the nose, no matter what its political affiliations were. And my whole battle against the woke has always been not that it exists, but it's how it's integrated, how it's critical to the story or not. And One Battle After Another was just like, it was a lot to handle. I mean, like, it's a movie that opens with like an ICE detainment facility being raided, and like I'm all about that, and still it was tough for me to watch from like a cringe point of view. Um, Reminded me of the scene from The Lost World where Vince Vaughn is releasing all the Triceratopses with brown people. Um, let's see. Adam says One Battle After Another is almost anti-revolutionary because it paints most of them as idiots. Yeah. Well, this is kind of like what people say about Hassan Piker, which is that he has driven more people to the right than actual right wing commentators. It's like if you are so bad at representing your side that you end up driving people to the other side of the fence. And like One Battle After Another kind of like skirted that because, yeah, their operation, especially in the beginning, was just like so flippant and insane. It's like, am I supposed to be relating to these people? I'm not too sure. So, look, I understand how much people love that movie. I'm glad that the world is rallying around a Paul Thomas Anderson joint and that it made over $100 million. I just really wish he would stop making bad movies. That's kind of my that's my one hang up with who was formerly my favorite director of all time. Uh, because of his recent output from Licorice Pizza, Inherent Vice, which I do like, but I consider a lesser work. The Master, which I absolutely hate and abhor and think is terrible. And now we have One Battle After Another, which is like kind of a mix between all of his latter movies. It's got the hangout feel, it's got the time period feel, it's got, all these counterculture revolutionary ideas. It just didn't, it's just slop. It's like liberal slop. I don't know. I'm a liberal, so to me, it's something that should have connected, but it's just yet another thing that's pushing me further and further into becoming a full-on fascist. So thank you, PTA. Big cheers to my man for screwing up that movie. Next up, and I don't need to talk too much about this one. Uh, yeah, Adam's saying that Inherent Vice is based on a book by the same author, Thomas Pynchon, who did One Battle After Another. I did read Inherent Vice, and I do like that book. I did not read One Battle After Another. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a good adaptation of the book. Has anybody in here actually read One Battle After Another? I mean, how does it line up? Is it at all the same? Because like, There Will Be Blood is based on a novel, but like if you read Upton Sinclair's Oil, it's not like word for word. It's not, it's more of like the idea, the vibe, the capitalism, the, you know, oil rush, things like that. I mean, the ideas are there. It's not a one for one. I'm assuming One Battle After Another is probably similar to that, even though Inherent Vice was actually pretty close at the end of the day. But yeah, I don't know. Not for me. I think it's going to sweep the Oscars. So, I mean, good for Paul Thomas Anderson. I think it's probably going to be some of his first Oscar wins, maybe. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. But good for him. He's an artist that I'll always want to see do well and continue their output. But, like, I would like for him to kind of lock in. All right. Next up Fantastic Four from the Marvel. Um, Everything Marvel has put out over the past couple of years has just been different flavors of terrible. Some of those flavors I've liked more than others. Fantastic Four deserves to be on this list not because it is a bad movie, but because it is a very disappointing one. It's just all the pieces were there. I just did not connect with it. You have a problem on your hands when a guy who, at the time, my wife was 9 months pregnant, and the entire movie revolves around pregnancy, birth, a baby, being in danger, and all this stuff. I didn't feel anything from it. The only actual emotional connection I had was the joke at the end where they can't use the car seat for their baby. I was like, that is fucking very relatable, but not emotional. I think that in time, with enough analytic breakdown, people will look at Reed Richards' plan from Fantastic Four as one of the dumbest movie plans in the history of time. Basically boils down to Reed Richards wants to sacrifice potentially the entire world's population by executing an experiment that he's only ever tried on like inanimate objects and maybe an egg on the entire Earth to beam it to another galaxy so that Galactus won't steal his baby. There's no situation where anyone on Earth, from a utilitarian point of view or otherwise, would ever support this plan. It's fucking insane. Nobody would ever. And they were like, oh, Sue, you got to convince the people that this plan's good. And she like went out and made that dumb speech with no microphone. Somehow the whole fucking world was able to hear this woman's speech. The digital baby was fucking ridiculous. Female Silver Surfer, I guess, was fine. I wasn't too bothered by that. But all in all, you had a really interesting aesthetic, kind of like the Incredibles. You had, a really good setting, and a really interesting setup. I just don't know why I didn't give a shit. I think a lot of it has to do with Pedro Pascal being Reed Richards. I have no fucking idea. I think John Krasinski as the joke casting in Multiverse of Madness was even better than that choice. And I didn't even think that one was particularly inspired. But man, the miscast feeling of that movie was just like unbelievable to me. I don't think anybody really worked out in that. Johnny Storm was bad in it. The guy from The Bear was bad in it. It just was not good. And that's a shame. It's making me kind of worried about Doomsday, as if I couldn't be more worried about Doomsday. It's probably gonna be the worst fucking movie ever made. But yeah, W4 Shep making Reed Richards dumb was a misstep. Was he dumb in it, or did he just seem like he was dumb? He was doing things that I consider dumb because he's putting the whole world in jeopardy. But like, like, was he actually dumb? I'm not too sure. It felt like he was dumb. Which, when you have Reed Richards, even the Tim Story Fantastic Fours from the 2000s, like even then you found Reed Richards like believable. Like, this is Mr. Science Man. I don't know if I'd say Miles Teller from Fan Four Stick hit that level, but he's playing a much younger version of the character, so like it's sort of okay. And Tim Heidecker was in that movie, so it's always going to get a pass from me. But yeah, god damn, it just didn't work. Adam says he was smart because the movie says that he is smart, but this plan is dumb. Yeah, I really think it was the dumbest fucking plan ever. I mean, I wanted to at the time make a really extensive YouTube video about just that aspect of it, but then it kind of got done to death, and it sort of turned out nobody even cared about the movie. So I moved on with it. It's no big deal. But Fantastic Four, I thought it was better than Thunderbolts, which I also thought was tremendously disappointing, especially after it got good reviews. I thought it was really flat and very boring. I guess it had a theme, which is more than most Marvel movies could say, but it's extremely forgettable and very bad. So it's hard for me to connect to that as well. Marvel's pretty much fucked for me until Doomsday. If Doomsday can somehow be good, which I think is a very, very low chance likelihood that the Russo brothers could pull it off at this point, considering how much bad shit they've made since Endgame. Maybe it'll get people back, but to me, it just feels like a cheap stunt at this point. Let me catch up on some of the chats here. Let me see what we got. Right. So the Tides of the Moon is something that was very much going to be in the video that I was going to make. I mean, there are all sorts of things, not only that, but like the gravity well of our sun being so exact. And there's no way you're going to find a planet that where all of that matches up. He would have killed fucking everyone on Earth. That's what it boils down to. And nobody ever would have supported that plan. I don't care what you think. People would have said, give that goddamn baby up. I am a new dad. I love my baby. But if it was like My baby or the universe. I'm pretty sure the baby's still going to die if the universe goes down. So it's either you've got a dead baby or you've got your Earth in a different universe and then everyone dies anyway. I mean, it's just like a lose-lose. But I think from a utilitarian Spock point of view, they should have given up the baby and then credits should have rolled. You just give the baby to Galactus. Galactus, like, oh, like he eats the fucking baby. And that would have been it. All right, moving on. This one, I have almost nothing to say about this. This was the worst movie I saw this year, period. This is, forget it, disappointing. I don't even know if I was disappointed by this, but I had to put it on the list because I hated it so much. Let's just see what he says here. If you go back to the original Fantastic Four comment, Reed was a bit of a jerk and arrogant and aloof and above everyone, but loved the environment. The plot was weak, no good characterization. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's been different portrayals of Reed Richards. This was just like the flattest, most non-characteristic, boring one I could have imagined. He had no charisma. It was just like Pedro Pascal, total autopilot. And I do want to hate on him, but he was the star of one of my favorite movies of the year, and we're going to get to that in just a few minutes. So, number 6 most disappointing, Star Trek Section 31. I don't even need to go into this. It's an embarrassing slop for the biggest fucking idiots in the entire universe. In terms of channel update, I think I'm going to try my best to cover Starfleet Academy. That's my big project that I'd like to do since my Alien Earth review became the #1 viewed video in the history of my channel by a large margin. I think people kind of like seeing me do the bad TV breakdowns, current things that are being talked about. I don't know if Star Trek is worthy of that. I don't think that people are going to be giving a shit about it, but I would like to do the first couple episodes and we'll see how it goes. Maybe it's something that I'll do every single episode, do a review for, if it is going well. Seems like it might. Basically going to have to be quite prepared. Sorry for coughing. I was just sick for a week. My baby was sick for a week. Moving on. Star Trek Section 31, slop of the highest degree. The absolute worst Star Trek movie ever made by 100,000 million billion fucking miles. When I saw Star Trek Into Darkness, however many years ago, I thought, surely this is the worst Star Trek movie I'll ever see in my lifetime. Robert Kurtzman said, hold my beer. It has since produced the absolute worst Star Trek content time and time again for years on end. So Section 31, if anyone has punished themselves into watching that, I mean, my God, I couldn't think of anything further from Star Trek with the name Star Trek. You might as well call it something different. You've completely left the fucking reservation. So done with that. Back to disappointing movies that you all are going to fucking kill me over. Although it's been going pretty good so far. I think I lost Nick with one battle after another. He immediately bailed out. I don't know if you're still there, Nick. Sorry for doing that. Sorry for saying the things that I said. I hope you're still here. We were all laughing at the Marlin stuff before, and now you're gone. We miss you. Sinners, number 5 disappointment of the year for me. And a lot of this has to do with other people getting me excited for this movie. A lot of talk of like, cinema's back, baby. Go see it on an IMAX screen. It was filmed with celluloid and movie of the year, best vampire film ever made. No, absolutely not. God, I mean, there's a litany of things that bother me about this movie. The first is it's just From Dusk Till Dawn, set in slavery times. It's just the plot of From Dusk Till Dawn, even down to the two brothers being like criminals and being kind of on the lam. It was unbelievable. I'm like watching the movie, like, this is the most original movie of the year, huh? Like, this is the plot of From Dusk Till Dawn. They end up in a nightclub. That's where the action kicks off. They couldn't even change one fucking element of this shit. Oh, okay, yeah. They changed the color of everyone's skin, and they made Michael B. Jordan digital twins that I thought were not different enough characters to warrant the whole shebang of having to go through with filming twins with CGI, and um, it just did not work for me. The first hour plus of complete setup I thought was very ham-fisted, very on the nose, and just like, okay, this is this is the director of Black Panther making me appreciate his work. Again, I don't know what I was supposed to get out of Sinners. I have seen so many better vampire movies. Dan Endon's favorite movie, Let the Right One In, is a clearly infinitely better film. But if you're going to keep boiling it down as a competition, obviously Interview with the Vampire, I think, is a stronger film. Kronos, I think, is a stronger film. I could do this for a while. I don't know what is so great about Sinners. It's like, oh, you injected social commentary into your vampire movie. Guys, almost every vampire movie has social commentary in it. Every fucking one has at least a little bit. Maybe not Queen of the Damned. I don't know. I haven't seen it in 25 years, but typically vampire movies are very allegorical. They're very elevated. I don't know. At the point at which like Sly and the Family Stone was like playing like guitar in the wreckage of the like when like historical figures were coming out, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Furthermore, to my own credit, to kind of bail myself out from seeming like a raging racist from the past couple choices here, I do want to say that the thing that I find deeply ironic about Sinners is that it is a movie that is meant to celebrate the history and rich culture of Black music, of African American rooted music, blues, of proto jazz and hip hop and things like that. Sure, that is great. I'm all about that. Then why did you hire a white Swiss guy to make the music? What were we doing there? Was there nobody out there? The movie is about Black music history being important, and it's about the white man, the Irish guys, and the other vampire clan stealing that culture away with an inferior culture. And great idea. Why is there a white guy doing all the music and playing a banjo? There's the guy who did the soundtrack for The Mandalorian. That's just super disingenuous and bizarre. I don't know why more people weren't like totally fucking confused by that, but I thought that was a really odd choice. Now I did like the music. If we're going like, what did it sound like? Oh, it sounded great. But Dan ended. But nobody bats an eye when Scorsese makes a movie about money. It's fair. The implication there. Sinners, misguided, weird. I like the end credit tease, but in the way that I like a good Marvel end credit tease, where I'm like, this schlock is gonna keep going. I don't know, guys. Somebody will have to convince me otherwise. I was not sold. Next up, number 4, most disappointing movie of 2025, House of Dynamite. What the fuck? I mean, holy shit. Whether you want to look at it as like Catherine Bigelow, noted famed director, or whether you want to look at it like Idris Elba, Rebecca Ferguson, great cast, great reviews, great early buzz out of every, press junket I read and announcement of how incredible it was. And this is the most tense movie of the year. Holy shit, what a bad movie. And it wasn't just because it didn't have a third act and it completely screwed its audience over, had absolutely no interest in paying off its audience for the hard work and effort spent. But the movie outside of that was also bad. Like the characters were unengaging and obnoxious and uninteresting. And it was just like a bunch of bad, unorganized stories that I don't understand why they organized them in the way that they did. It didn't reveal anything else about the situation every time it switched perspectives. It was extremely repetitive. Like to the point where I was trying to turn the movie off. My wife was asking me, why do you want to turn it off? I was like, I feel like I'm watching the same movie again now. And okay, like, to cliffhanger your audience not once, but 4 or 5 times, then deny a payoff. It's absolute criminal blue balling of a degree that I'm still processing the feeling that I felt when that movie ended. Was I sat on my remote and I skipped a chapter, or is there a glitch? And look, I've heard people defend the end of House of Dynamite, and I think that the people doing that are really fucking dumb. Because it was not a movie. It was like, a nice simulation of what a nuclear strike might be like in its infancy, its first few hours, but it didn't provide any insight anywhere else, and it was like maybe the most anticlimactic thing I've ever seen in my life. So, House of Dynamite, see you in hell. You fucking suck. Number three is a movie that I think that I mostly enjoyed. I think it was well directed. I think it was well written. I think it was very well cast. It did not work for me. That movie's Weapons. I know a lot of people loved Weapons. I spend pretty much my entire year now specifically reviewing, recommending, and researching horror. So maybe I have different expectations out of things than other people, but what it boils down to is I didn't think it was scary. I think it, through its narration and through its structure, diffused all of its own tension. I didn't feel any tension other than the scene with the principal, which I thought was a fantastic scene. And I think that, Zach Kreger is fantastic and a great creative and a great director. I just didn't connect with Weapons. I also couldn't see it. It was shot so darkly. I mean, I was struggling in the movie theater. Now at home, it might be a little better. Projected, I couldn't see a fucking thing in Weapons in the movie theater. It was very well acted. I agree with Jack Doobie very much in the chat. Weapons was, like I said, it had fantastic elements. I loved the section with the drug addict. I thought that he was a standout, incredible performance. That's the dude from Euphoria who played like Barb's weirdo boyfriend, like kind of incel vibey boyfriend. Great scene. I thought Alden Eldenreich, the guy who played Han Solo or whatever the fuck, he was really good in it. I thought Julia Garner, who's usually terrible, was very good in it. And of course, Josh Brolin was incredibly, incredibly good in it. And Amy, what is her name, Cadigan, or who played Gladys, iconic role, iconic character. It just didn't work for me. I found myself pretty bored with it. I knew it was, a good movie. Again, Minecraft exists. Again, Marvel slop exists. But Barbarian also exists. So I have like a point of reference for Zach Kreger, and like I know he can do a little bit better. It was an interesting movie. I was very engaged with it as it was happening. I don't think I would want to watch it again. I mean, the mystery is solved, and it wasn't really one that I found particularly intriguing. I felt like a lot of people were praising Weapons' mythology because it didn't over-explain it. I actually think it still managed to over-explain it, even without providing Gladys's backstory. I still felt like, okay, we got the stick and the bowl of water, and like it's still from the trailers, it seemed so ominous, and that is to their credit. Much like Longlegs, movies that are being sold with incredible marketing that I don't think have an actual good movie underneath it. Just like Longlegs, I thought the trailers were way better than the movie. And I knew that it was not going well for me when the movie opened with very stilted narration from a little girl. I was like, this is, why not just show me this? Like, showing me the disappearance of the kids is so much more interesting than having this girl fucking explain it. It just diffused the tension. If you loved Weapons, like Adam, I'm seeing you saying, I really liked Weapons. I don't get why people don't. It's one of those things where I was bought in from the start. Fine. I was not bought in from the start, and I appreciated the perspective switches from a writing and structural POV. I did not appreciate it from a tension point of view. And I think when you see my picks for the year in a positive direction, you're just going to see what more of a kind of horror fan than I am. This just was not for me. But God bless. And I think Zach Kreger is it got incredible movies up his sleeve. And if I'm being honest, Barbarian, while I did really enjoy it, it also wasn't like my favorite horror movie. It's not like in my top 50 or anything like that. I did really like it. I love Justin Long. I loved the humor in it and the cutaway scene, like in the 1950s or whatever the period piece moment was in it. I thought was genius. But I feel like Kreger's like on like a Jordan Peele trip right now, where it's like he's got original ideas, he's got style, but he's just not something's missing in each of his projects. But I think he's gonna, just like I think Jordan Peele delivered a masterpiece ultimately with Nope. A lot of people are gonna hate me for that too. I think Kreger's got it in him to make something truly profound. We'll see. I know a lot of people will really think that this movie is a masterpiece, but anyway, down to my final two disappointing movies of the year. Number two is a movie that I had no clue, I had no idea it would be bad. Like, that's what keeps getting me this year is like there are some movies that I looked at on paper. I'm like, oh my God, like look at the cast of Weapons, and Barbarian was so good. Um, you know, look at the pedigree behind One Battle After Another or Frankenstein. Like these things, they should be really good. This was like the chief offender of that, and that is Mickey 17. Jesus Christmas Jones, did I hate this fucking movie. This was like a, I feel like I've never seen a movie from a director that I walked into the room being like, I love this director. And even if this movie is just okay, I love this director. To walking out of the theater being like, fuck that guy. No, fuck that guy. Mickey 17 like was like really when you see that a director has nothing going on past what you've already seen. Like we've seen Bong Joon-ho, we've seen like Okja, incredible story about animal rights, feeling empathy for your creature brethren. That was completely cribbed in this movie. It just feels like this. It feels like Mickey 17 was basically this director's whole filmography, like a parody of it, like an SNL parody of it. It was god awful movie, and Robert Pattinson was fucking terrible in it. And like I am a huge huge Robert Pattinson fan, and I guess like he did good work in it, but like what the fuck was he even going for with that performance? My wife Rachel, she's in the chat right now. She says, "Wow, I forgot about Mickey Seven. Most terribly disappointing slop ever." She read the novel, and then got me to read I read a little bit of the novel, but I know that she was excited walking into that movie, and we were both like, "Get me the fuck out of here!" halfway through it. I think that I think that there are just better versions of this movie in every single regard. Um, I don't know what went wrong here, man. Part of it is like, and I hate again, like it's not. This is like the third or fourth comment that's gonna, to some people maybe paint me in a light that's not very attractive. But I think the whole Orange Man bad element of it with Mark Ruffalo was just like so on the nose and so embarrassing. He didn't even try to like make his character anything interesting. It was literally like a rejected SNL script about Trump in the future. like abusing animals on a planet with Robert Pattinson doing effectively like Steve Buscemi from Fargo, basically. That is the voice that he was doing. Crazy. Uh, Terrible choice all around. Still kind of processing how that director could make such a poor movie. I do think that some of his films are some of my favorite movies ever. Um, believe he directed Host, which is probably in my top 20 or 30 movies ever made. So yeah, I don't know how we got to this point, but uh, yeah, my wife said made me see Robert Pattinson in a less attractive way after that. It's fair. I mean, it was definitely like a very self-deprecating, bizarre role for him. It was just like really, really on the nose and super embarrassing and bad and exhausting. Um, and the waste of a good premise and the waste of an incredible cast. Tony Collette, even when you can make a movie where Tony Collette sucks, that's when you fucked up. You fucked your shit up really good. If Tony Collette is turning in a bad performance, the woman, I don't know if she's ever turned in a bad performance. This was it. I mean, she was terrible in this movie, and the whole thing was a goddamn disaster. Again, it had a lot of elements of his other movies. It had so much Snowpiercer in it, and I love Snowpiercer, and it just like hurt to watch. It's really the same pain I feel with some of these like that we've been discussing so far. A lot of these latter career directors that just like clown themselves, like Scorsese, like just making parodies of his own work at this point. Hang it the fuck up. And I will, okay, and someone's gonna call me out on it. So I will say it, Ridley Scott has become a joke of himself as well. I don't want to talk about it for too long, but I'm starting to accept that Ridley Scott is fucking terrible, and I'm like the last person to admit it. I'm aware of that because he's always been my favorite director. But geez, Louise, some of these guys need to either hang it up or just stop sniffing their own farts. Mickey 17, complete waste of my life. Number two. Number one, most disappointing movie of 2025. Can anybody guess what this is going to be for me? I feel like everybody knows me at this point. We all know what I'm probably going to say here. Oh, let's see. Adam said, Old Man Ridley sundowning his way to Gladiator 3. He did say he is working on Gladiator 3. So I know most of you will hope that he dies of old age before that happens. What do we got? Do we got to guess? Most disappointing movie of 2025. Nobody. Um, yep. You guessed it. Yeah, walking into this year, I was, in terms of franchise slop, I was very excited for a couple movies. Some turned out to be great, some were absolutely god awful. And chief amongst them was Jurassic World Rebirth. Holy fucking shit. RIP, the guy from The Wire. Shit. Yeah, man. I am, if you know me well enough, I am a huge Gareth Edwards fan. I know how that makes me look. It's not an attractive opinion currently, or whatever, or it never has been. But I love monsters. It was a really huge impact on me in terms of like independent sci-fi movie making. I thought that was a really revolutionary movie. Godzilla 14 is a movie that I typically go to bat for. Sometimes I'm mad at, but it's kind of like an abusive relationship. The creator I loved. I know Dan Enden fell asleep like 8 times during it. I love that movie. I've only watched it once. I would like to rewatch that. Write that down, Rachel. But yeah, I've always loved his work. Rogue One, best Disney Star Wars movie by a nautical fucking mile. And I expected more from him, and I expected more from David Koepp, who is one of the most famous screenwriters in the history of the medium. He really fucked this movie. I think maybe they're if given a normal production slate, like a year to make this movie instead of 5 minutes, Gareth Edwards could have made a good movie. I don't think anyone could have made a good movie out of the script of Jurassic World Rebirth. Absolutely god awful. So um, I walked out of the movie entertained. I bought the popcorn bucket. I got my Rebirth slop corn bucket with the little Grogu they tried to make famous. I bought this before I watched the movie, so I don't want to hear about it. But holy shit! I mean, I look. I know everybody. A lot of people think that every Jurassic Park World movie is bad. I would agree that only the first one is truly a great movie. I did not think in any world that Jurassic World Rebirth would be worse than Chris Pratt 2015 Jurassic World, because like that movie I think is should be the bare minimum for making a Jurassic sequel in this day and age. It had the budget, it looked cool, it executed the idea of a fully functional theme park, but I never thought it was a 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10. I thought it was a fine blockbuster with some doofy, kind of fun meta discussions on corporate greed and people becoming sick of dinosaurs. This movie made that movie look like the original Jurassic Park in terms of actually presenting ideas and themes and intellectual moments. It really was that bad. They were basically making the same point for the first hour of the movie. They talked about how the dinosaurs died in the equatorial zone no less than 10 times. They explained it through a car radio, a news report. They explained it through multiple characters saying it. They said it through a text crawl. And they showed it several times, including the dinosaur dying in the middle of the street in the city. Never has exposition been laid out that many times. It was fucking unreal. Basically made me feel like, okay, I'm watching a movie made 100% for idiots, like 100% for idiots. So I felt dumb watching it. I felt even dumber when it was over. And yeah, most disappointing movie of the year. Absolute garbage movie that I bought on 4K Steelbook. And I did rewatch once to confirm, maybe it was an off day at the cinema. No, it's really one of the dumbest scripts ever. I mean, I like having it because it's like a Gareth Edwards Universal Studios ride. Like if they gave Gareth Edwards 3 weeks to make a Universal Studios Jurassic Park ride, that is exactly what it would have been. It was not a $250 million year long made epic. It had no effort in it. Silver Boogaloo said, I liked it for some reason. Okay, like, I'm a tremendous fan of Jurassic Park 3. Like, I will not blame anyone out there for connecting with or enjoying a Jurassic Park movie. I wouldn't put this movie on the worst movies of the year, but it's the most disappointing movie of the year because the pedigree that was there and the possibilities that were there were really endless. I mean, the director of Rogue One, the writer of the Spider-Man trilogy and the original Jurassic Park, if they were given the right time and which they weren't. I mean, they finished Dominion and they immediately threw this movie into production. And I don't think they added Edwards until very late in the game. Uh, I don't think the problem's the D-Rex. I don't think the problem are the mutants. The problems for me were mostly Scarlett Johansson completely asleep through the entire movie and the worst script in the history of the entire franchise. I think Dominion was a better movie than Rebirth. uh, yeah, so there you go. Most disappointing movies of 2025 at an end. We're going to do the best now. I think it's going to go a lot quicker because when I complain about things, it typically gets out of control. This is going to be a little more restrained. Yeah, my baby is crying. He is upset right now. I can hear that. And bless up. Hopefully gets down back to sleep. So I'm very busy. Number 10, Naked Gun. Hilarious. What are we doing here? We need more movies like this. 100%. I haven't sat on my couch and just like laughed in a while. Realized that. And watching Naked Gun was really joyful for me because it was just like 100 miles an hour jokes. And maybe not all of them landed, but they haven't made a comedy like this in years. I mean, it really resembled kind of the original Scary Movies, the Zucker Brother parody movies, Airplane, things like that. It really had that vibe in a way that I hadn't seen in a really long time. And I think anybody that kind of spends their time complaining about like where my comedy gone, watch Naked Gun. I don't know how you could not have fun watching Naked Gun. It's kind of the feeling that I got like watching almost like Jackass, where it's just like this is just funny. Like I just want to laugh. I just everything sucks, and it feels good to laugh. Naked Gun, number 10. Number 9. I don't know if this is a controversial pick. Together. Do we hate this movie? I've heard a lot of people dislike this movie. I liked it more than The Substance. I thought it was a great body horror movie. I thought it had great performances, and more than that, I thought it was really scary at points. There were some cutaways and some moments in the beginning and in the setup I thought were really scary and like really well filmed. And I thought it was funny, and I thought it was brutal and disgusting. I thought the end of it was really like skin crawling and really smart. Um, I think a lot of people slept on this one, and I think that it deserves to be, given its flowers. I think it was a really good movie. I think maybe if not for The Substance coming out, it would have gotten kind of that label of like body horror's back, baby. So yeah, Together. If you guys haven't seen that, obviously a lot of that is because I will always have a crush on Alison Brie from Community. That's just a problem I have to deal with. But yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was very well filmed, and I thought the effects were all really well done. Excellent horror movie. Where are we at, people? We liking this, or let's see, when to see it but didn't? Okay, that's fair. All right, moving on. This one you guys are gonna hate. I had trouble putting this on the list because it is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I this is why I don't. This is why I'm not primarily reviewing new movies on my channel because it's just gotten to a point where I think my wife and I have realized that we just have different tastes. Some could use the word better. I'm not going to use that word, but we have different tastes than people, and different things hit for me that didn't hit for other people. Whatever. And with that apology, sorry, my voice is getting hoarse from being sick. 28 years later, go ahead, get your kicks in, people. 28 years later, you watch enough horror these days of people that suck at directing movies, and you kind of get used to things looking like shit and being poorly edited and poorly lit, especially weapons looking at you. Um, Danny Boyle is a god of fucking cinema. Um, his eye, his hand, and his iPhone can do things that even seasoned directors could never dream up in 1,000 years. And I thought that this movie had the same frenetic insanity that was found in the original ones. I think people rush to say that this didn't resemble the original film, and I would challenge those people to rewatch that movie and then rewatch 28 years later because it's clearly the same director, it's clearly the same writer, and other than the kind of Teletubbies doing martial arts at the end, I thought it was an incredible horror movie. The scene where they are running back to the town, isolated on the island under starlight. I mean, you can point to a better looking scene in cinema this year. I will not be convinced. It was fucking gorgeous. Plot wise, it was a little strange. Alex Garland has been getting weird with it for a really long time now. I think that anybody who walked into this movie expecting a traditional zombie movie, what were you thinking? Why would you do that? Danny Boyle has never made a really traditional, straightforward movie, period. And for staying away from the franchise for over a decade or whatever it was, clearly he was not going to come back and just make a zombie movie. I don't know why. I mean, look, if you want a zombie movie, there's a billion of them. Did you guys who hated this movie, did you really need another 28 days later? Because we got 28 weeks later, which wasn't directed by Boyle, but was the same thing, but amped up. I mean, that movie's absolutely fantastic. It's kind of like a Matrix Resurrections situation where like I am just happy to see something different happening in a franchise because I'm a big fan of going outside the box, which you're actually going to see a couple examples of that coming up on my list. Um, I don't know what to tell you guys. I thought it was a gorgeous movie. I thought the acting was fantastic. I thought Spike, the actor who played Spike, was great. Kick Ass, the actor, he's always pretty good. He was fantastic in this. Jodie Comer, very good in this. And Ray Fiennes, fantastic in this. Very much looking forward to the sequel. I think it comes out next week. Yeah, okay. People can sit and watch Killers of the Flower Moon, which is Scorsese half dead making trite remakes of Goodfellas for the 500th time with a different skin on, or we can do some like really ball busting, incredibly creative shit. The filming of it with iPhones is downright revolutionary. It looked unreal gorgeous. I mean, I don't know what people would want. They want like Cillian Murphy to come out with like a machine gun and fight a horde of zombies. Like, no, thank you, sirs. But I don't know. It didn't work for so many people, and I find that really sad. But yeah, great movie, very out of the box in its narrative, very out of the box in its filming, in what it did to the zombie lore of that series. Sorry. I mean, go watch Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead if you want to see the same fucking movie again and again and again. It's always there for you. No one's taking 28 days later away from you. It's just the vitriol I saw about this movie. It was unbelievable. So very happy to put it on my list 28 years later. Number 7, Flying Lotus's movie Ash. Don't know how many of you have seen this one. Sci-fi horror movie. One of my favorites of the year, extremely psychedelic. It's kind of like Event Horizon on mushrooms. A lot of people are really, really ripping on this movie, and it's another case of like I'm not quite sure why. It was very interesting approach, good performances. What's his name from Breaking Bad? Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad, finally playing a character who just isn't Jesse Pinkman again. Thought it was cool. And I thought the visuals were unparalleled. I mean, really crazy, crazy images that Flying Lotus put together in this. I know his first movie he directed was terrible. I'm not here to vouch for that, but I will say that if you love sci-fi horror, don't sleep on Ash. Great little movie, absolutely worth your time, especially if you've like done psychedelics in your life and love science fiction. What the fuck? What else do you want? What do you want? This is what I'm asking on my top 10 here on a lot of these movies. What do you guys want? All right, moving on. Number 6. Just like now I'm reading this list, it just keeps getting more and more embarrassing. But here we fucking go. We're going in. Number 6, Avatar, Fire and Ash. Let's fucking go, James Cameron. I wouldn't say 3 for 3 in terms of the Avatar movies. I think they're all very flawed, but they do represent a technological prowess that is unparalleled to anything I've seen before in my entire life. If you have any doubts about what it took to make the Avatar movies. I implore you to watch the Disney Plus documentary series on how the movies were made. James Cameron is a engineering aquatic genius. I mean, we already knew this about him, but the technology that he developed for these films are stunning, incredible, and they're going to be used for movies I think that will eventually be great and dramatically rich for a proof of concept for the future of filmmaking. The Avatar series remains unparalleled. This movie reminded me a lot of Return of the King in the way that the trilogy worked, not in its quality. We're not here to compare maybe the greatest fantasy movie in history to the Avatar series, but the way that you felt in Return of the King, where it was like everything's coming together, the battles are the biggest they've ever been. I'm caring about these characters the most as I have thus far. It's almost like a case of like saw the first Avatar movie and I was like, fucking Jake Sully is the worst character ever. Quaritch is a really stupid character, but it's almost like through repetition and through spending all of this time with these characters, I have become endeared to them. I do find Neytiri and Zoe Saldana's character incredible. Like her performance, deeply underrated. And I also think Sigourney Weaver is doing God's fucking work in the Avatar series. She's now playing a teenager in a Na'vi body and is selling it. I see her character as a child, and it's all her performance. And it's, she's one of my favorite actresses ever. James Cameron is one of my favorite directors ever. And the Avatar series is everything James Cameron has ever been interested in put into a blender. And I won't apologize for thinking that that's fucking awesome. And Avatar deserves its haters. Again, it's not perfect. You're not going to see me like getting an Avatar tattoo. You're not going to see me at the next Avatar convention. But it is a series that I think has broken ground in ways that people will only appreciate kind of further into the future when they're done making Fern Gully jokes. There's 1,000 movies that are like Fern Gully. There's 1,000 real life situations where people have been ingratiated into foreign cultures and then end up joining them and joining some sort of revolution. It's a reflection of things that have happened in reality. Like they say, every story's been told. And if you're going to make, the ultimate blockbuster filmmaking movie experience, 3D digital fuckaroo, you're probably not going to start with something that's like a deep grounded emotional drama. Like, what did people expect? He developed the technology, he made everybody blue and 9 feet tall. They keep getting better and better. This movie was crazy. It was like it felt like they had all of the elements of every Avatar movie and they pressed copy and paste. Like they pressed paste like 75 times a minute. And it was like the most of everything the series has ever had just combined and multiplied. And, like Return of the King, it was just like, we're throwing everything against the wall now. And I'm there for it, dude. It's become like, I don't know, because of South Park and because of Titanic, it's become cool to like make fun of James Cameron. And I don't get that. I've never got that. I'm always the guy who's like, but we're talking about the guy who's made only the best movies ever. Why are we all so mad at James Cameron? I think I think it was Titanic. I think that the melodrama of Titanic to some people seemed like a transparent manipulation. And because of that, no one has really ever trusted James Cameron to be sincere again. And shit, I thought it was an incredible spectacle. Blew my fucking mind, and I don't know. Sorry. Like South Park's funny, I guess. I'm not trying to be a party pooper. I did laugh at the South Park James Cameron stuff, but I don't get it. Like what did James Cameron do wrong? He's a tremendous environmentalist. He is a genius engineer. He is obsessed with the ocean, which I also am obsessed with kind of lifelong as well from a scientific point of view. I don't know. I mean, I guess fuck James Cameron. I don't know. Yeah, I think people will eventually look back on the Avatar movies and be like, wow, but it's not quite happening yet, other than in a monetary sense, but whatever. Number five. This is going to piss off Adam from Review Bomb again. I feel like this, when I was making these lists, I specifically realized very early on how much this was going to piss him off. Number five for me of the year was Predator Badlands, and I'm doing slash Killer of Killers because why not bundle them together? Yeah, okay. To Adam saying he did say that Terminator Dark Fate was a great movie. So like, I, I don't know. Like he always comes out and says every Terminator movie is a great movie. That is the only thing that I don't like that he's ever done in his whole career because I think it's disingenuous, and I honestly think he's just like trying to put money in his pocket every single time that he does that. No person would ever think any Terminator sequel was good after two. They're all awful. I think that three is actually the only remotely acceptable one. Everyone after that is not even bad, but like the worst movie I've ever seen again and again and again. Especially Genesis and Dark Fate, which I'm still processing how bad those movies were. And they're bad in such different ways, which is so unique. It's almost like a series where like they've made like Alien, for example, they've made one Alien Resurrection. They're like, okay, we're only going to really make the worst movie you've ever seen once. Um, I know a lot of people disagree with that, but that's how I feel about it. Whereas Terminator, it's like every movie is Alien Resurrection after the second one. They're all like the worst thing you could ever do with that concept again and again and again. Sucks. It's god awful. Predator, Killers of Killers. Great anthology. It's what I've always wanted. I've always wanted a decent collection of Predator tales that kind of take place through a various, time periods and, against various warriors. Why the fuck not? It was great. Some of it was a little bit weaker than others. Such is the way of most anthologies. But all in all, it was probably my favorite animated movie of the year. And it's awesome to have a rated R animated movie every once in a while. I've made many videos on my channel about them, many shorts about them, especially. I love adult animation. Shout out Primal coming back in a couple weeks. Adult animation is the best, man. I love me some kids stuff, but what it's basically come down to is that kids animated movies these days are CGI schlock for complete fucking mouth breathing, window licking morons, and really adult animation has retained a lot of its severity and interest in my brain. So, Killer of Killers, scratch that itch, and then Badlands, I thought was great. I had a great time watching Badlands. I do accept any criticism of it. I do understand why a person would want to see a rated R Predator movie again, because what a lot of people really don't think about is that Predator, the reason that people keep asking for the same formula again and again, is because Predator is a slasher movie. The first one with Arnold, he's the final girl. The second one with Danny Glover, he's the final girl. The Predators, um, Adrian Brody's the final girl. It's just a horror slasher movie. That's the Predator series, and if you want to keep seeing that loop, great. I'm sure people will make Predator movies for the rest of time of people in the jungle getting murdered or Danny Trejo ripping off his shirt and shooting guns at the Predator. I don't know. When with me in franchises, I don't understand when people get locked into this notion that every entry needs to be the same or it's not worthy. Did it have Marvel Disneyfied elements? I mean, yes, but just as my battle with woke is very nuanced and purposeful, my battle with this kind of thing is as well. That you can have comic relief in a movie. That's not illegal. You can have a female in a movie, guys. It's not so scary. Um, you can have goofy CGI creatures in a movie, no matter how serious it is. If it takes place on an alien planet, Riddick was a great fucking rated R movie where he had a pet dog that had goofy ears that he taught it fucking tricks. It can work. Um, A lot of the things that people have levied against Predator Badlands seem to be born out of either allegiance to movies that have already been made 1,000 times, or unwillingness to change and grow and to give Dan Trachtenberg the space that he needs to do his thing. He already made a Final Girl Predator horror movie. You already got it. Prey. He didn't need to do it again. He did it. It was rated R, covered in blood, great action, solid character, different time period, all the things we always wanted from Predator movies. A lot of people complain about that movie too. Don't get that. And Dan Trachtenberg, great director. Love 10 Cloverfield Lane. Love pretty much everything he's done. And this is no different. We'll be buying it. We'll be enjoying it. Do understand the criticisms. Do understand that a lot of men can't handle a female character talking too much, which is like, we're talking about Elle Fanning. She did good. She's a great actress. Some of the humor worked better than others. I'd say the only thing that really bothered me was when he trained that slug at the end to be a shoulder cannon. That was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in my fucking life. Outside of that, yeah, I think if you're going to keep making Predator movies, like Adam's saying here, I don't want to see the same Predator movie over and over again. I don't want to see any more of them. Okay, that's fair. I do. I love Predator. And I feel like it's an unexplored universe. And, they could have stopped making them after the first, and we would still have one of the greatest movies of all time. But then we wouldn't have gotten the second, which is one of the best bad movies of all time. And you got to let people cook with franchises. This is an argument that I've had with Adam before, where like he wants the kitchen to be closed. I want the kitchen to be using better ingredients. That's where we are totally separate. We're also totally separate because what I consider to be good ingredients are totally different than him to begin with. That's a different story, totally subjective, but that's what that boils down to. All right, moving on. Number 4, second best horror movie of the year, Strange Harvest. Where you at, guys? Why haven't you seen Strange Harvest? You all saw Weapons, or you tried to see Weapons. You could see about 75% of it. It was too dark the rest of the movie. Where are we at with Strange Harvest? Who's seen Strange Harvest? Me. I made a video about it on my channel. Then I put it in another video on my channel. But yeah, let's get out there and see that one, guys. Let's pay for it, rent it, give the filmmakers what they're owed for their art, and support independent horror. Support a great movie. This is from the director of the movie Grave Encounters, which is a horror classic. And it's basically a true crime movie with cosmic horror and dark sci-fi elements to it. It's presented as if it is a true crime Netflix binge, but it spirals into some absolute maddening territories, crazy cosmic horror stuff. Wasn't perfect. It's clearly an independent production. Strange Harvest, though. Great movie. Not dramatically the richest thing in the world because it's a mockumentary true crime. I mean, you're not going to have like the characters that you're going to fall in love with. It's more about presenting a really believable and creepy narrative. And it was very genuine. A lot of people in the Facebook group, the Rental Zone, which if you guys are not in it on Facebook, Movie Blues Rental Zone, I think you can find a link to it at the bottom of most of my videos or on my channel. It's a discussion zone, kind of like a Discord, but full of like complete wackos who I know throughout the years and some people who are fans of the channel. Feel free to come there. But yeah, we did discuss that at length. Let's see, did this have a theatrical release or was it streaming? It did. It did actually come out in movie theaters, and I had just had the baby. I was pregnant like a week before, and then I popped, and then I couldn't see the movie. But I would have loved to have seen it in a movie theater. It did a very brief theatrical run. It was in my area. Great movie. Check it out, Adam. I think you might like it. Depends on your kind of mileage for like true crime, found footage type stuff. But it's fucking great. It was awesome. Kind of elements of a lot of different great horror movies in it and presented it in a new way. I didn't know how much I was really going to enjoy it from the trailers and the reviews. The trailer didn't really sell me, and the images I was seeing of the movie with like some character wearing like a slasher mask, I was like, this is not, this is going to be mid. But really good. Kind of reminded me of the Poughkeepsie tapes. Yeah, yeah, I could see that for sure. Um, let's see. Didn't have high expectations for the first 15, 20 minutes, but hot damn, did it keep me interested and did a great job of the vibe changing. Yeah, it tackled a lot of crazy territory and it didn't really lose its believability. So for me, huge win. Loved it. Recommend it to everybody to check out. If you have not seen Strange Harvest, it's worth a rental. It's worth the $4.99, where the fuck it is at this point. Check it out. Number 3 movie of the year for me, Friendship. Sure about that? Sure about that's why? What can you say about Friendship other than it's for people who love Tim Robinson, which I think everyone on earth should love Tim Robinson. I don't understand why people don't, but at the same time, I spent many years of my life being a huge Tim and Eric fan. And when you're a huge Tim and Eric fan, you come up against a ton of people that are just going to say that you're a fucking idiot for thinking that it's great. And I am just going to repeat for the millionth time in my life the same line of logic that I've had to kind of throw out when it came to Tim Heidecker's work, which is that there's such a thing as being stupid on purpose. And I'm not talking about like Adam Sandler using a funny voice. That's stupid on purpose. No, I mean like using your brain intellectually to create an air of stupidity that is based on facets of reality that are fucking hilarious. And in Tim Robinson's case, a lot of it is work related. Almost all of his comedy that has hit for me has been about work, about being at a job, about being an automaton in an office, about embarrassing yourself at work and how embarrassing it is to be alive. And I think it takes a lot to figure out the nuances to present in terms of that level of stupidity. When you're portraying somebody that's almost like autistic and how fucking detached from reality that they are, and how embarrassing that they are with the things that they do. I mean, it's just, I get why people don't connect with Tim Robinson. I don't respect them. Like if you tell me I've watched I Think You Should Leave, I've watched Friendship and The Chair Company, and all of them are bad. I fundamentally don't trust you anymore. I don't think you have a good sense of humor. I don't know if this is fair to say about my own potential audience, but like I don't recognize anyone. I don't see you if you say that everything that Tim Robinson does is terrible. You've either not watched it closely enough, not actually seen it more than a minute or two at a time, or you don't have a good sense of humor. Nick saying Detroiters, yeah, great show. Been getting into that over the course of the past few years. I put on an episode here and there. I wasn't there to watch Detroiters when it was on. I'm more like when I'm bored, I'll put an episode on. I haven't seen so many of them that it's really keeping me alive. The thing with Detroiters is like Detroiters for me is like that last bag of weed that you have that you need to save every leaf of. Like I don't want to watch all of Detroiters in case there's no Tim Robinson content that I can consume like once a week, once a month, immediately after that. So I haven't finished Detroiters, but I'm like not. It doesn't seem like a show you need to like rush through. So I'm savoring it every time I watch it. I'm like, this is good. So yeah, Friendship. It was an easy win for me for the year, and that brings us to our top 2. Any guesses on what my top 2 movies of the year are for anybody that knows me at this point? I feel like I've probably said it in the rental zone enough, so some of you guys have probably heard me ramble about these things to a great extent. Number 2, Ben Silver, straight off the rip there. Eddington, number 2 movie of the year for me. Ari Aster, dude, that's my goat right now. He's been my goat before, right? He made Hereditary. I was like, this guy. There's something about the Johnsons, which for the millionth time, if you have not seen the short, There's Something About the Johnsons on YouTube that basically got Ari Aster his career. God damn it, you owe it to yourself to the second this stream ends, look up. Now, don't, if your grandma is with you, if you're at the old folks' home, don't put this on the communal television. It's one of the most fucked up movie shorts ever made. Um, Ari Aster is my fucking goat. Everything he makes, I just think is so good. And I know that makes me some kind of like A24 loser. Got it. I'm like, not edgy, but I'm like, it's like mainstream to like any this shit at this point. I don't give a fuck about those things. I'm here saying Avatar Fire and Ash was dope. So I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks about these things with me. But that being said, I get why people are like dropping out on Ari Aster. I experienced a mourning period with Ari Aster. It was before Beau is Afraid came out, when he announced that his next two movies would be Beau is Afraid and then a Western. I was like, dude, no. Like we're doing horror or we're not doing it at all. I was like, clearly, the only thing you should be doing is horror because Midsommar and Hereditary, that's the pedigree. And there's Something About the Johnsons, which is pure horror. I mean, that might be the most horrific thing that Ari Aster has ever made. Easily. Definitely. But my man has changed like the seasons. And Beau's Afraid was an adjustment period where I was like, do I trust this guy to make this kind of movie? And the answer is like, I don't know. I mean, Beau's Afraid is downright irresponsible movie making in every conceivable metric. It is excessive. It does not respect the audience. It is just a fucking disaster of a movie. And I just, it's so good. it's so good. I need to watch it again. It's been a while. I've been waiting for it to come out on 4K, which I don't know if Dan Enden is still here, but I don't think it ever made it to 4K, which is fucking nuts. But I do own Eddington in 4K, and it is primo. Absolutely fantastic movie. I would say the only reservations I had about it were like, I don't ever want to see a Western because it's just not my vibe other than Bone Tomahawk and Ravenous. And I don't ever want to see a movie about COVID ever again. And for those two things to be so successful, that's God's work right there. Ari Aster took a bunch of shit that I hate, Pedro Pascal included, and made it sing. And I think that the last thing that needs to be said about Eddington is that I know Joaquin Phoenix is a good actor. Everybody knows that. For some reason, this was the movie where I looked at Joaquin Phoenix and I was like, this is one of the masters of our time. Like, he's playing this salt of the earth, curmudgeonly, idiotic cop, completely stubborn, completely like the person you would meet during COVID where you were like, bro, you are making the fucking world terrible for everyone else. That is the character that he's playing. It couldn't be further from Joaquin Phoenix in reality, who is like a vegan animal rights activist, like extremely left-leaning, extremely open and colorful person. And he played this absolute fucking chud in this movie. And the fact that he gets COVID and spends much of the movie suffering from the thing that he has so little respect for, and you can see it just eating away at him the whole time. I mean, it's a pure cinematic journey for me, that movie. Eddington, the ending, I think will be discussed for a while. Whether it worked for me or didn't, it almost was negligible. Like when it started, the ending, like the last 10 minutes, I was like, it doesn't matter. If Ari's going to do his thing and get so stupid and weird right now, I still loved the first like hour and 50 minutes. It's not going to ruin the movie for me. And like he tried, I'd say he tried pretty hard to fuck the movie up with the ending, but I still think he landed the plane. And I think the ending maybe deserves more like more of a breakdown than I've kind of offered it. Maybe there's more going on there than I really thought, but I need to rewatch it. I've only seen it the one time. But Eddington, number 2 of the year. And that brings us to number 1. Bring Her Back. You didn't make a better movie than Bring Her Back this year. No one did. Bring Her Back is the movie of the year for me. It scared the shit out of me. Um, and has a couple scenes in it that I would say are like martyrs level difficult to get through. Like it's tough because like I want to show my wife the best movie of the year. I don't think that she would survive Bring Her Back. I just so happened to watch it while she was away for a weekend. Thank God, because I would have been made to turn it off halfway through for sure. Let's see. All right, so Ben Silver, you're saying, guessing you haven't seen Marty Supreme and Begonia yet. So Marty Supreme, I have not seen, and I'm sure that if I had seen it, it would 100% be on this top 10. I love Timmy, love me some Safety. It's an easy win. I also love ping pong and used to actually participate in ping pong tournaments, like not like at your summer camp. Like I was like driven to like a bunch of Russians in a room, like playing serious ping pong. So I couldn't be more excited for that movie. It was between that and seeing Fire and Ash in theaters. Um, and you can only see Fire and Ash in 3D kind of once at this point. Um, so I did what I had to do, man. Fucking Marty Supreme. Catch that one on streaming, but I'm sure it was great. I don't have any reservations about that. Again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, some things I just didn't have time to get to. Begonia, I don't like Yorgos movies. I've not liked a single one of them. Zero of them. I'm zero for however many. I've watched every single one of them except for Poor Things and Begonia now. And I really don't like any of them. I like what they look good. They're directed well. I like that he's like doing a little David Lynch Jr. I don't connect with any of his work. Does that make me a plebe? Sure. I don't know. Sure. I'm not really in the part of my life now where I can watch a movie that makes absolutely no fucking sense and like be like, that was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Um, Killing of a Sacred Deer was really where I was like, I'm not, this is not for me. I like deep movies. I like elevated horror. I like elevated dramas too, when it's like very, allegorical and bizarre sometimes. But I don't like things that don't make sense on purpose. I've been very clear about that, both in the podcast and in my videos and stuff like that. It's not for me. That's why I'm not a Lynch head, even though some of his work I do love Blue Velvet. Certain of his movies really have connected with me, but Yorgos, not a one yet, zero. So people are like, but you have to see Poor Things. It just looks like a bad Tim Burton movie made by a pervert. Anyway, back to Bring Her Back. Incredible. I don't know. I really can't praise it any more than that. I just thought it was beautifully shot. The performances were stellar. The blind girl in it was incredible. The special effects were fucking brutal. And Talk to Me, I thought was good. I enjoyed it. I bought it. I have never rewatched it because it was kind of like felt like a movie made by YouTubers, which it was, and it felt a little disposable, which I think it was. It had some iconic elements to it, surely, but I don't think it's had the staying power that, like, let's say, Weapons is going to have with Gladys. I think the whole hand, it was cool, like the year it came out. People have moved on from Talk to Me. I don't feel like I need to go rewatch Talk to Me. And honestly, it wasn't a very serious movie in certain regards. It was very like frenetically made, and the actors were all like kind of very Gen Z. I remember there's like a lot of party scenes that were kind of like juvenile, and like it wasn't like a classical horror movie. It was punchy new age horror. Very good, like very better than Weapons. I better than Barbarian. I mean, I really enjoyed Talk to Me, um, but I don't consider it like a masterpiece. Bring Her Back is a masterpiece. The level up from Talk to Me to Bring Her Back is, I don't think I would have ever guessed it was the same director. Honestly, it was that much of a boost, and also Talk to Me was like kind of like It Follows. It's like a good premise. Wasn't that brutal? It's just a good horror premise with a simple plot. Bring Her Back was like real horror. Shit that will stick with me absolutely forever in terms of its brutality. I mean, there was the pineapple scene of Bring Her Back is the scene of the year for me. I've never had a more visceral reaction to any movie in 2025 than the pineapple scene in Bring Her Back. And I, as a horror fan and somebody that spends a lot of their year digesting horror, suggesting it, recommending it, researching it, this had everything. It's brutal, it's emotional, it's elevated, it's well made. The music was good, the cinematography was very sharp, the shots were all really incredibly framed and interesting. For me, and I know they say this in 1,000 movie previews, for me, this was the best mainstream horror movie since Hereditary. 100%. Um, yep. Sally Hawkins is up there with Tony Collette. I totally agree with that take, man. That's, the first thing I thought when I walked out was this is the best horror movie I've seen since Hereditary. And Sally Hawkins put it in the best horror female performance since Tony Collette. I will stand by that 100%. Now, I haven't felt the need to rewatch it like Hereditary. Hereditary, I wanted to watch again and again, but I think that that's because there was a lot of mysteries baked into it. Um, Bring Her Back didn't have any like further mysteries and is a very upsetting movie. It's closer to Martyrs than it is to Talk to Me. It's a tough watch, and you will not be the same. It's one of those movies where like whatever you're doing that day is torched, done. You're done after that. You maybe you will take a shower, but then you will go to bed. And you will have fucking nightmares. Yeah, Ben, you've got to check that one out, man. That's a must for me. All right, runners up real quick. I wanted to mention Long Walk. I thought was really enjoyable, simplistic, good Stephen King cover adaptation. Enjoyed it. It was very brutal. Was more violent than I kind of imagined. Um, if I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I really enjoyed. I wouldn't put it on my top 10, but I found it very effective, and the performances in it were top notch. And as a new parent, it hit a lot of notes, but it was a very artsy movie. It had a lot of like really interesting choices in it. It was a movie about a woman struggling to be a mom, and they never showed the kid in it, which was really fascinating. You can only hear her voice. Good movie. I think if you're going to watch one parent losing their mind movie of the year, it's that and not Die My Love. We watched Die My Love a couple nights ago. No, thanks. It was okay. Good performances. Robert Pattinson, once again, great. But it just didn't do it for me. It fell apart in the third, and it just didn't have anything to say about postpartum depression. So just an empty movie, all style, not a lot of substance. Jennifer Lawrence was really good in it, and Robert Pattinson was really good in it. But other than that, pass on that one. Clutch 2827. Hello, dude. What's going on? And other runners up for the year. I enjoyed James Gunn's Superman. I know a lot of people did not. But I had a fun time watching it. I would say it's one of his worst movies. It didn't make my top 10, but God, man, just anything to get me out of the Snyderverse, anything to release me from the gray sepia garbage clutches of Zack Snyder, I will give kudos to. I don't think we ever needed a Superman movie where he has like a harem or is being canceled on TMZ. But other than that, a lot of things were done right with the Superman mythos. A lot of things were done right with the performances. Corn Sweat, Brosnahan, Lex Luthor, Nicholas Holt, all great. They will hopefully go on to be in better movies because it was a bit flawed. But I'm a huge Superman fan, lifelong Superman fan. Not like Batman, but um, it's always been very close to my heart. And I do think that it touched a lot of what I needed in my cold, dark soul from a Superman movie while still somehow fumbling so many different bags in so many different directions. I know Adam, who's in the chat from Review Bomb, his channel, he's going to be ripping Superman to shreds pretty soon. And I'd say it probably deserves it, but it hit for me. I enjoyed it. And finally, for runners up, Tron Ares, which I finished last night, which everyone told me was the worst movie I would see all year. Thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. Worst part of it was Jared Leto, as anybody could feasibly anticipate. But the thing about it, and the genius thing on Jared Leto's part, is that he finally played a character that was self-deprecating and wasn't just trying to be an edgelord like Morbius and Joker. It was really a self-deprecating character who was able to laugh at his own goofy program behaviors. And at times it also felt like he wasn't really the main character, which I thought was great. Anytime that he wasn't on screen, I was having a ball because I just hate him personally so much. And some of his work, some of it has been good in his career, some of it has been abysmal. And a lot of people told me this was going to be like the worst movie of the year. It's not. I mean, all Tron movies have gotten bad reviews. All of them have been middling box office returns. This might be the worst of both. I think it's probably the worst reviewed and the worst performing Tron movie ever made. Which I'd say it deserves. If one has to get the lowest, sure, I guess Ares, but I really didn't see it as much of a departure. I hadn't heard a single note of the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack until watching the movie last night. Yo, it's fucking amazing music. Yeah, it was a little embarrassing, like thinking about them having to score like a Jared Leto movie, like Trent Reznor, who's like an Academy Award winning movie scorer, composer, is like having to like do like a Jared Leto movie for Disney. Very weird, but worked great for me. We'll be buying it on 4K to complete the trilogy of steelbooks for these movies that I have the first two of, and was very hesitant to pull the trigger before seeing it. I stole it and watched it illegally. Now I paid for it. Everybody wins. Yeah, see, I agree. Adam saying the soundtrack is really good. It's not as good as the Daft Punk one for Legacy, but still great. Of course not. Of course it isn't. And of course it's not as good of a movie as Legacy. Because I think that Legacy is actually a really, really underrated movie, like a really good movie. It's also just a complete ripoff of Batman Begins structurally. Its first 40 minutes is quite literally Batman Begins, like in every way possible. So it's derivative of its time period of that kind of reboot, legacy, sequel culture that was brewing at that period of time. But yeah, Ares just it wasn't nearly as bad as people said it was. I you know I was really bowled over by some of the things that they brought into Ares, especially. I don't want to spoil too much, but there are a few scenes in Ares that, let's say, pay tribute to the original movie in a way that I thought was really fucking cool. And I've also heard from many people, up until today even, was having this argument online that they were mad at Tron Ares for retconning Legacy. And so I got mad at that before I saw the movie. I was like, dude, why would you? I understand you don't want to do the plot of Legacy. You don't want to continue with those characters. I wouldn't either. Neither of those actors from Legacy are still working in Hollywood. I mean, Olivia, what's her face, has been canceled and has been off the grid forever at this point. And yeah, I just the other guy. I mean, who the fuck played Sam Flynn in Tron Legacy? That dude never made another fucking movie ever again. Clutch says people dogpiled Ares just because it was the cool thing to do. I agree. And I think a lot of that has to do with Jared Leto being a cult leader and making a bunch of bad movies in a row. I think that people decided that this was like the worst movie ever, like before it was ever seen. And the fact that it wasn't some genius reinvention of the entire franchise or some dramatic heavyweight movie, people were like, all right, fuck it. Let's just say it was the worst fucking movie we've ever seen. Now, if you would have switched, like who would you have casted as Ares? Because I would have wanted anyone. I mean, like a lot of people could have done that. And the thing is, Leto did it because he loves Tron and he basically pushed the movie into being made and was the producer. And if you watch interviews with him about it, he's like a big part of the reason the movie even exists. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Ares could have been anyone, and I would have enjoyed it more. I would feel more confident about shilling for the movie had it starred somebody that I respected a little more than Jared Leto. So that is my best movies of the year. And I want to run through, and I'm going to be much quicker about this, some TV show stuff, favorite TV shows and least favorite from this year. I'm going to do it real quick, kind of like a lightning round. First, I just want to talk about real fast channel stuff, kind of where I'm heading in 2026. Just for everybody, on Friday, I have a new video released. It's already past copyright. It's hanging out in the editing bay and it's ready to go. And that's Disturbing Documentaries 3. And I think that if anybody has ever checked out my content, if anybody has ever taken any of my recommendations, I implore you to check out my series on disturbing documentaries because if you like my horror picks, if you like, stuff that is really niche and taboo and fucking crazy, I have covered documentaries in that series that are, I mean, will haunt me to the ends of my days. This batch is no different. The 10 documentaries I had for this one are completely insane. That's going to be followed by my first found footage recommendation video, which should be coming in the next 2 weeks. I don't know if it's going to be 10 or 15, not sure. But that'll be more recommendations, found footage. And I wanted to give people who are in this live stream a little special gift, you could call it. And for anybody that watches my found footage stuff and wants to know, what's going to be on the next list, I'm not going to tell you all the movies that I picked because I would still like you to, ultimately watch them. But I would like to talk about, or at least briefly recommend at least one of them that was on this list. And that is a movie called Masking Threshold. Crazy title. One of the craziest movies I've ever seen in my life. It takes place fully from the point of view of someone's workstation, their desk, almost like an unboxing. It is an entire movie that takes place at a physicist. I want to say he's a physicist because it's easier to explain kind of than what he really is, but a physicist's desk who is investigating a case of tinnitus in his ears that has destroyed his life and made his life very, very difficult. So he sets up microphotography and he sets up an entire room of evidentiary, like microscopes and all these crazy methodologies to investigate the tinnitus in his ears. And I don't want to ruin where it heads to, but I will say it is like a cosmic horror movie. I mean, it goes out there. But I've never, ever seen a movie shot like this before. No one's ever made a movie where, I mean, you never see the protagonist. You see his hands, you hear his voice as he does all of his experiments. But like, if you're the kind of sci-fi horror fan that loves hard sci-fi, hard horror where people are like, describing and explaining things that are scientifically out there and that take a lot of intellect to think about and create. That's what this guy has done here. I mean, it's like an autistic level of detail that he's imbued into this movie. It's on Tubi. It's free. You can go watch it right now, no matter who you are. Whether you like found footage or not, doesn't matter. It's a fantastic experience. This guy has made a trilogy of movies that this one is a part of. They're unrelated, but they're very thematically similar. Um, to give a little away, another one from that trilogy is going to make it onto this list. Uh, that movie is called Solvent. So again, Masking Threshold and Solvent are two movies I'm going to give you for freebies here. Two of the best found footage movies I've ever seen. Didn't know they existed until 4 days ago. Mind blowing. And I don't care if you like found footage, horror, what your interests are. These movies are like will blow your mind. If you've ever seen the work of Menson and of Moorhead and Benson, very similar to their work. It's truly out there sci-fi horror, shot from a perspective. Both movies are shot from perspectives that have never really been seen before in any horror movie. Full Send, Masking Threshold. Start there. Blow your mind. Never seen anything like it. Never met a single person who's seen it. Incredible movies. Check them out. And finally, I want to talk about just one more thing that I've just been meaning to mention on live streams forever now. It's driving me fucking insane. It has been for years now. I made a project on my channel a couple years ago that was about Stephen King articles that he had written in Entertainment Weekly in like the 1990s into the early 2000s. Basically, I had to read hundreds and hundreds of these articles. So it took me like 6 months to a year to complete this project. Nobody fucking watched it. It's one of my most painful YouTube memories ever. It's still on my channel. You can see it down there. W4 Shep, I have not seen Good Boy yet. I have it on my hard drive. Haven't seen it yet. Sure, it's great. I'm scared. I'm scared something's gonna happen to the dog, and like the problem is I can't watch it with my wife, so that limits my ability to check it out. It is a movie that's going to be a lot of animal peril, and my wife, God bless her heart, she volunteers with dog shelters. She's very empathetic towards animals. She does not like movies where animals are being put into horrible, torturous situations. So it's a movie I'm going to have to watch by myself, and I'm sure I will enjoy it. Sadly, I've not seen it. It's not what you think. That's interesting. I haven't heard that yet about this movie. It's not what you think. Wonder what that means. Say no more. But yeah, it's on my queue with the rest of 2025's movies that I haven't seen. But yeah, long story short, I did that Stephen King project. Took me 6 months. Nobody watched it. Nobody gave a shit. And the moment that stopped, I said, okay, I'm going to now go full on into another long form project, and I'm going to make it something even bigger, way bigger this time. So I've been working on a project now for 2+ years. I basically wanted to read every book in the series Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child wrote for the past 20+ years. That started with the book The Relic, which was turned into the movie The Relic with Tom Sizemore. Everybody loves The Relic. Everybody has really fond memories about The Relic. I think what a lot of people don't know is that The Relic, the novel, has 23 or 24 more books after it. And I decided I'm going to read all of the books that come after The Relic and would do a project on it. I'm still doing it. It hasn't stopped yet. It's been 2 years. I've read 15 books, and oh my God, man, it's getting hard out here to finish this project because like what I want to do is like make some basic illustrations with AI and kind of talk my way through each one. Here's what I thought of it. Here's why you should read it. Blah blah blah. It's just I cannot. I'm at the point where it's 100,000 pages that I've read. It's killing me. So I'm really getting roasted by that project. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I don't know if I'll ever put it together, but I'm out here still trying to finish it. So I'll always be working on that. And other than that, for the channel, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, guys. Working on that. And other than that, for the channel, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, guys. We went up thousands and thousands of subscribers this year. I've hit really huge milestones on YouTube this year. My Alien Earth video continues to just crush. It's out there with 63,000 views, and it keeps climbing. And I'm just really happy with where I'm at with the YouTube thing. I get a lot of great messages from people all day long. I'm working with a bunch of filmmakers who make found footage, one of which, Christopher Vanderkay, is convinced that he's going to kind of mentor me and coach me into making my own, which my wife is listening to the stream. Don't worry, honey. I'm not going to blow my entire life up making a horror movie. Um, it might just be a project I work on the weekend sometimes. But he's convinced that I have the prowess to do it and to make it happen. He made his found footage movie Ask, which has been on a lot of my lists and in my top 100 for like $500. And I love that movie. And he's been gracious enough to like coach me in kind of figuring out how that might be a possibility because I did go to film school. I did focus a lot of my life into writing. Even if I don't direct a found footage movie, I could see myself writing the script to one and passing it off to him. So I will be kind of continuing down that route of considering that as an overall plan as I kind of continue to do my thing on YouTube. I'm not going to Shelby Oaks it. Don't worry. No, I did not watch that movie. I have no interest in watching anything Chris Stuckman makes on his YouTube channel or in reality. It also is supposed to be like 20% found footage. I don't fuck with that. No, thank you. I'm a purist. Um, yeah, I'm going to keep my nose to the grindstone. I'm going to keep pushing despite my better judgment and a lot of people around me, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of people tell me every week, every month, just keep going. And that is what I'm going to do. And it's because of a lot of great people, like some of the people in this chat, that I'm able to kind of keep a level head and figure out what I'm doing and, what works, what doesn't. And I'm learning more and more every day. And I'm always open to suggestions. And yeah, I just love making content, love producing videos, and I don't see it ever stopping. So here's to another great year of that. And with that being said, to close off our time here tonight, I'm going to do a little fire round of most disappointing shows and favorite TV shows of 2025. I'll leave it up to you guys again. What do you want? Favorite or most disappointing first? Let's see. Shep said, 2026 is your year. Keep up the great work and enjoy your baby now. They grow up so fast. People keep telling me that. Um, That's interesting. I ascribe to the notion that the days are long and the days are long and the months are short. I've heard that a few times, and that is an extremely accurate way of kind of looking at the way time has flown with the baby. It's crazy. Every day is an absolute battle. Every day is insane amounts of responsibility and scheduling and just every hard thing that life can throw at you. But the time is peeling by in the background. So yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that, brother. All right, everyone's saying favorite. Oh, you've got five kids. Oh my lord, my brother has seven. So five is five is a lot, man. My wife and I are like looking at people who have three kids. We're like, what are you thinking? So yeah, five. That's God bless, dude. That is impressive. All right. Everyone said favorite shows of 2025. Number five, Common Side Effects. Scavenger's Reign. Love that show. Probably one of my favorite shows ever made. Common Side Effects, just as good. Not, just as good. Okay, that's a weird statement because they're so different. For me, Scavenger's Reign is a perfect experience. One of the masterpieces of science fiction this decade. Common Side Effects is great, though. I think that people should really, between that and Smiling Friends, I think that adult animation is crushing right now. And Primal coming back, I'm like in adult animation heaven. So it's a great time to be a fan of animation, and that's a great show. So if you guys haven't seen Common Side Effects, absolutely check it out. Number four for me, Welcome to Derry. Big surprise here. Not that I didn't love it, chapter one and two. I just didn't see this working as well as it did. And I also didn't see Andy Muschietti having the big size balls that he had making this show because he like went way more extreme with this show than the movies went. The movies were like tame in comparison to the show. It almost seemed like he kind of in the interim was like, I have some shit to prove, so I'm gonna come hard when it comes to the series, and he did. I mean, damn, some of the craziest horror scenes I've seen like all year. So very, very impressed by that show. It kind of fell off with the finale. I think they got a little too crazy with certain aspects of it that I'm not going to go into because for me it was a win. And when it comes to TV shows, it's much more black and white for me. Movies, there's like a huge middle ground where I can watch a movie and be like, Shows, it's like if it's not working for me, it's fucking done. I hate it. Don't bother me with it. I'm done with it. So yeah, Welcome to Derry passed and with flying colors. Great. Number three, Chair Company. This should be an obvious choice to anyone who's been following along. Tim Robinson, funniest guy in the fucking world right now. Chair Company, I'd say is not hitting for me like Friendship did. Thought Friendship was like a 10 out of 10. I think the Chair Company is like a 9 out of 10, which is still like real high stuff for a show about a broken desk chair. Yeah, it's just another genius stroke of genius from the director of Friendship and from Tim Robinson once again. Great show. Don't know what anybody is thinking once again who thinks he's awful, but whatever. Um, Number two, Adolescence. The technical prowess that it took to make this show. I still can't believe it. While you watch the show, if you know anything about filmmaking, about the difficulty of the one shot, it's like watching a miracle take place. And when you watch the behind the scenes of Adolescence, it's the only thing that I found more impressive than the making of Avatar this year was the making of Adolescence. And Stephen Graham, fantastic. Always loved him since Snatch. I mean, he's always played such incredible characters. He's such a great actor. Turns out he's a great writer too. He conceived of this show from the ground up. Fucking amazing. He said he's not making a second season. Leave it where it's at. Smart guy, doing the right thing. Incredible show. Very unexpected. It's about a topic that I find has been done to death at this point, and took very interesting new angles with it. So yeah, I mean, everyone's talked about it. Everyone said it's amazing, but I'm here to double down on that. Adolescence, incredible. Favorite TV show of 2025. We know what this is, right? There was there was only one masterpiece on television this year, guys. What was it? Mads is also a really good movie. Okay, so Mads is on my list for this next one. It's supposed to be a one take horror movie. I've heard nothing but good things. I'm going to watch it for my next list. It probably is going to end up there. So yeah, Mads. I have heard great things about that. Waffle Nova, Alien Earth. Yes, correct. You got it. You're saying pluribus. That's a guess. Is that ibus? Is that pluribus we're talking about? But it's like abbreviated. Number one show, 2025. Andor, season two. Severance. Get the fuck out of here. Andor season two, baby. Fucking masterpiece, my guys. Doesn't get better than Andor season two. Fucking cinema. I don't like. How do you even describe Andor to somebody that hasn't experienced it for themselves at this point? It is the best Star Wars product since the original trilogy by a fucking nautical mile. It may honestly be a. It is. It's a more dramatically rich and fascinating and mature property than anything we've ever seen in Star Wars. Original trilogy out the window in terms of how serious it is, how elevated it is, how much it tackles so many current day issues. And this is a funny thing that people like to harp on, right? Like, you're some kind of right wing psycho if you say that Star Trek Discovery is woke garbage. Okay, like fair enough. I, I guess that's true. Andor is a show that, just like Star Trek, is all common day issues, current day issues, tackling, things that we're seeing in our real world. It's a reflection of our world, blah, blah, blah. It has all the makings of, what a right wing psychopath movie reviewer would probably say is woke garbage. No, it again woke is totally fine. It's totally fine to have current day issues, current day representations of human beings in current day products. Totally fine with that. Just needs to be done from a earnest place, not from a place of corporate greed or diversity quotas. It needs to be done for the right reasons. The Acolyte is an example of doing it all for self-insert, all for the wrong reasons, selfish reasons. Andor is the total opposite. It's tackling issues that aren't important to Tony Gilroy so much as they're important to our entire society. So yeah, Andor season 2, absolutely incredible. Ben Silver says Severance is so overrated. You know, I didn't know that you held that opinion, Ben. I think it is probably the most overrated television show out there. Period. Don't know what to tell you. I would have picked Foundation. Okay, so I'm only on season 1 of Foundation. I haven't gotten to 2 and 3. I hear they're very good. But it was great. That's a great show. I think that is better than Silo and Severance. But I'm gonna take unending shit for that, I'm sure. But yeah, Foundation's fascinating. Really like that. All right, so those are my best TV shows of the year. There are of course plenty of runners up, but not worth getting into. Those are the best for me. Then we have the worst. And by worst, I mean most disappointing, okay? Because we're doing that as the common theme. I can't say that some of these are bad, especially this first one. I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm going to say that it's not what I want when I sit down at night to watch a television show, and that is Pluribus. Yikes. What a fucking snooze that show is. I am not the kind of person to dislike something solely on the fact that it is boring or slowly paced. If that pacing is for deliberate reasons, and if that pacing pays off in a way that represents something in the storytelling that needed to be done in the way that it's done, and if you can tell me that a alien invasion show needed to be this boring and exhausting to watch, I I just think that that's Vince Gilligan high on his own supply. I think that too many people told him that Better Call Saul was the perfect pacing for a television show when it clearly was not. It's a great show, Better Call Saul. It's horrifically paced. I think more than half of the show could have been absolutely left on the editing room floor and it still would have been a masterpiece. And I think that this show really has taken all of the worst lessons from Better Call Saul and applied it to a genre that demands more exciting storytelling. I'm not saying that Pluribus needed to be like Tom Cruise's War of the Worlds. No, not at all. But this isn't it. I don't know what you guys have like completely gaslit yourselves into believing about this show. But television's not the same as movies. If you're watching 8 hours of a TV show and it's not gripping, that's more of a problem than it is in a 2 hour movie. I mean, that means you're making mistakes more and longer and more consistently along across a longer timeline. I just, Rhea Seehorn, great actress. Vince Gilligan, genius, writer, director, visionary. This is not it. I don't know how they're going to sustain this for several more seasons. I won't be there to watch it probably, but I have yet to finish the first season. But everything I've seen thus far and the reviews I've seen of the latter part of the season, something about like Rhea Seehorn listening to the same like voicemail on her message machine like 650 times. This is what I'm talking about. Is like you can be slowly paced. You got to respect your audience. And as you can see in a lot of things that I've picked on these lists, it's all about like respecting your audience. I don't like being told that I'm a fucking idiot by Yorgos because I don't understand that like a turtle is supposed to be a bird, is supposed to be a gun, is supposed to be a deer. Like I just don't care. Like give me the goods, give me the meat, and give it to me raw. So yeah, no thanks. Number 2, most disappointing. Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. Number 3, I want to be a dad. Last of Us season 2. I mean, sure, we all knew this was going to be terrible, right? Because we know that the game was fucking the narrative of the game, not the gameplay, but where they went with the story. We all knew that this is going to be a fucking disaster. And it was. They did not. They didn't help themselves. So Ben saying 45 seconds of Carol stepping out of a car. So like dude, like the scene in Pluribus, the cold open, where you follow that character for 20 minutes and like I don't know where she was, what city it was, some foreign country where they're trying with this cold open to illustrate that the hive mind is all encompassing, that it works in mysterious ways, that it can take somebody out of the dirt and make them the most important person. It doesn't matter. Dude, you needed 20 fucking minutes. Like I had to watch that woman fly a plane to America in real time to like make that point. What is the artistic merit behind making the show so slow? I don't know. Why? Can someone explain to me why? Like what does it add to a sci-fi almost a horror sci-fi show to have it be like molasses to watch? I don't get it. I mean, I get you want to make something dramatically weighty. Then why is your main character like the author of Twilight? She should have been this nuanced, rich character with this extremely troubling or interesting background. She was like J.K. Rowling for like old sad women. I don't know what we're doing, guys. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what we're accepting as good, but I mean, in a world where Severance is the most genius show ever made, I guess there is room for Pluribus. It's just like highfalutin, boring crap for people who take themselves or their TV time too seriously. I don't know. But Severance is a show that started very strong and then showed its cards as just being a sloppy, over serious mess for every other episode I watched of it. And it got more and more and more exhausting. And I checked out. So that's it on Severance. I can't imagine that show is going to land on its feet when it's all said and done a few seasons down the road. What the fuck are they going to be doing in that show? So I don't know. Let people have their severance, I guess. I'll just like watch Terry Gilliam's Brazil for the same thing but better. We've been here. We've made media about the brutal ironies of office life, and I don't know. Adam Scott's hair is fucking annoying in it. Fuck that show. I don't. John Turturro's like kissing Christopher Walken. I don't know. I'm done with it. So that brings us to our number two. I didn't even talk about The Last of Us, but it was bad. I mean, it was fucking. I didn't even finish it. It was terrible. Yeah. So yeah, Clutch is saying that worked in Breaking Bad and Saul, but not in a sci-fi show. Exactly. Like Vince Gilligan wrote The X Files. He knows how to do this, and it's like I said, he took the wrong lessons from some of his best work and shoehorned it into something that just like wasn't ready to be a show. I think it needed a few more passes. I prefer Office Space to Severance. Yeah, I agree, man. There's any number of office satires that are not even stupid. They're actually like really smart and interesting. You know, like I mentioned Brazil because it has that sci-fi edge. But yeah, Severance is like reheated leftovers to me. I don't see the appeal. It's like normie garbage slop. Um, sorry, I'm sorry to anybody that's not liking what I'm saying right now. I'm sure there's got to be someone. Let's move on to something mostly everyone hated. Number two, Monster, the Ed Gein story. Another show that I bowed out of very quickly, um, which is interesting because like oh man, you had all the elements. I thought the actor was great. Pacific Rim dude was great as Ed Gein. I don't know where he got the voice from. He didn't. Ed Gein did not sound like that. So I mean, there's very few recordings of him speaking, but he just doesn't sound like that. Like he doesn't have this like affected Michael Jackson voice. Where was that? Who came up with that? I don't know. So yeah, I don't. Jesus Christ, that show is just terrible. And the fact is, we know so much about Ed Gein to lie on his name and make up a bunch of shit for a TV show at this point. Okay, Ryan Murphy, like you can be weird and like artsy. You don't have to like lie about who Ed Gein was and what he did to like shoehorn in plots about Psycho. Like it was just really wrongheaded and stupid, and especially compared to the Evan Peters one for Dahmer, which was really good. I mean, that was really good and was serious. And pretty accurate. And yeah, Ed Gein, Jesus Christ. But nothing, as you all know, could ever usurp my number one most disappointing show of 2025. If only House of the Dragon season 2 was in 2025. Was that in 2025 or 2024, guys? I don't remember because it was so bad. What we got? Let's see, the Game Boy Watch. Let's take a look here. Yeah, this thing. Yes, it's got the light on now. Very cool, right? What can I say? I'm a trailblazer in my element here. Yeah, I like this. I saw the Ed Gein movie. It was called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, like, yeah, I mean, sure. You know, any number of things have been based on Ed Gein's mythos, but this is like a reversed engineer version of that, where I don't know, it was just bad. I'm seeing that I missed one here. Nobody said anything when I went totally out of order. It's really late, guys. I had work at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, whatever it was. I missed Stranger Things. That was number 4. What the fuck? This is just another one of just like, what? Why was this show even still on? It had, never had lore to begin with. It was never interesting outside of its first season. It only got worse and worse and worse and worse. It was a show that was designed as an anthology series. It was never allowed to be that. It People got obsessed with the characters and they stuck with it. Um, Holy shit, the last season was so bad. I kind of like the finale in that they kind of just gave everybody what they wanted and walked away. They were like, "Here's everyone fought a giant spider." I was like, "Okay, it's kind of like the finale of Wild Wild West, but it's fine. We're cool with that." And yeah, holy shit, awful. And it just for anybody watching Stranger Things or even thinking about it, the fact that it was 4 years was the length of Stranger Things from the time that Will first got diddled by Vecna to the grand finale of the show was 4 years. Just let that sink in. Like 11 became a 40-year-old woman with plastic surgery in 4 years. Like she was a like when they show the flashback in the finale of the kids playing D&D as kids, I was like, what? Like those are babies. Like those are actually baby children. Those are kids that should be in like first grade and they're like full adults now. What a disaster. Linda Hamilton this last season? What the fuck? Like what a non-character, like what a mess of a show. They absolutely should have killed more than half of the staff. Cannot believe of the cast rather. I cannot believe how many people survived. It was to me, I mean, the worst season of TV to a recognized established show since Game of Thrones. 100%. Total disaster. Like embarrassing, gay, awful crap garbage. And again, like the whole Will coming out thing, like that is an interesting plot point. Actually, it was founded and worked up to, but it was paced insanely. I mean, like the entire show slammed on the brakes to do that, and it was just embarrassing, dude. It was tough to watch, man. Let's see, Stranger Things season 1 and 4. That's all. So what was 4? Was 4 the last season? Yeah, this was 5, right? Mm-mm. That was quite bad as well. That was another one where it was like, why are these episodes 2.5 hours fucking long? This show has no content. What are we doing? And the runtimes could have kind of made sense if it were like more character based stuff, like the first couple seasons, whereas like the interest in the draw were the characters, not the demigorgons and gorgon bats and friggin' giant spiders. The fact that they turned the mind flayer into a giant spider is so fucking dumb and diffuses the most interesting element of the entire show. It's just trash. I don't think the Duffer Brothers are ever going to make a piece of content again that is going to be held or regarded anywhere to Stranger Things. I think they're pretty much talentless. And you can tell that because Stranger Things went from a show that was nostalgic of other things to a show that was nostalgic of itself. And it became very embarrassing. Like, they were glazing themselves by the end of the show. Like, isn't this so epic? Like, no, 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 it's not. It's just a bad Freddy Krueger knockoff and bad special effects, and yeah, it sucked. Terrible. But yeah, I agree, Ben. I did think the finale was pretty strong, especially compared to the rest of the season, but still crap from an ass. And as many people have theorized, number one, Alien Earth. I have a 40-minute video on my channel about why this was one of the worst television shows I've ever seen in my life. Never expected that Noah Hawley would shit the bed like this. He's a guy that I have loved his work, everything he's done. Um, and I thought the idea of an alien series on Earth was fantastic. And they blew it in every way they could. They did not live up to the potential of any of the ideas that they presented, and it was the absolute worst xenomorph suit and practical effects in the history of the entire franchise, which, for a show that had a larger budget than any entry in the entire franchise, even adjusted for scale for the length, it was still the most expensive thing that's ever been made. Terrible. I mean, reprehensible garbage. And the fact that people I've seen up to yesterday saw a comment of someone saying that Alien Earth was the best alien content since the 1979 movie. What are you, fucking dumb? Like, just like, I saw a guy arguing that it was better than Aliens. What the fuck? And that's like, that kind of sums up where I'm at with a lot of the things I feel like I've gone through on the stream and on this list, which is I just don't know. Like, I am just absolutely baffled by what people are enjoying at this point in society and what people are propping up. But I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm going to keep trying to push things out there that I think are worthy of discussion and worthy of watching. Try to get you guys to watch as many good things as possible. And that's it, folks. I don't have a Patreon. I don't really make any money off this. I think I have super chats on in this thing. No, nobody bought one, so that's it's par for the course. And I'm just doing this for the love of the game. I have been making money off of YouTube. It has been very nice, but not enough to quit my job. Maybe someday I can make that a reality and a dream come true. Who knows? Until then, I'm just going to keep pushing for you guys. And pretty much brings me to the end of my 2025. It's been a great year on the platforms. Been a great year in the rental zone on Facebook. Again, if you haven't joined our discussion group for the movie Blues, check it out. And with that, if anybody wants to ask me anything embarrassing or if anybody wants to recommend anything, I'll stay on here for another 2 or 3 minutes. And Quinn is awesome. Welcome, dude. Yeah, you got here. This is the end. I'm finishing my scotch. I have one sip left. You can rewatch this. It's $2 from Review Bomb. Thank you. It's not. Yeah, I didn't want it from you, dude. I'm gonna send that back to you. The $2 from your Review Bomb. Thank God we've made some money tonight. I can feed my kids, so we're all good. Was Begonia mentioned? It was mentioned. I haven't seen it. I'm not a Yorgos guy. I will get around to it because I do love Jesse Plemons. I think it looks good. I want to see Stavros Halkias act, but I did not get a chance to watch it. But maybe it would have made it onto this list. Maybe it would be one of my first Yorgos positive experiences instead of like me walking out of his movies being like, the fuck just happened? So it does look good. I would like to watch it. I will watch it within a few months, I'm assuming. Although the end has already been spoiled for me of Begonia. The whole is she an alien or isn't she has been spoiled for me. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone else. But some dickhead that I follow posted about it and posted this picture just ruining it. So thank you to that fantastic organization. I think that's called One Shot on Facebook. They're like the people that post about like movie frames and famous stuff. They just ruined the movie. So that was great. Other than that, I will check it out for sure. Let's see, definitely watch Good Boy and Matt. I think you're talking about Mads. You were at Mads, but I do absolutely intend on seeing Mads, and I'm going to watch it for my next list, which comes out in 2 weeks. So keep an eye out for the new found footage list. And again, all you found footage heads, please check out my Disturbing Docs videos. My new one is coming out on Friday at 3:30 p.m. That is the release date for all my YouTube videos that I feel really comfortable with at this point. Fridays around 3:30 p.m. So this week you guys will be getting a 25-minute video on disturbing documentaries, and very excited to bring that to you. It's some of my best editing I've ever done, weirdly enough. So excited for you guys to see it. Let's see. Make a nice shirt with a cool logo, a found footage feel to it. My wardrobe is YouTubers I support. Thanks, man. Yeah, I just like the Patreon. I feel like I'm just on the cusp of kind of doing these things, and kind of the more things head in a positive direction, the more possibility it would be. But I would love to do something like that. Would love to do that and have that for you guys eventually. So we'll definitely look into that. Quinn is awesome. 21. Yo, DS, what you think of the new Predator Trachtenberg trilogy? The meme with the horse on fire running across all three entries. That's where we're at with the Trachtenberg trilogy. Prey, dope. Killer of Killers, dope. Badlands, different, dope. Loved it. Loved how Badlands tied in with the Alien series too. And I do have a review for Badlands on my channel. I don't review a lot of movies anymore. So when I do put a review out, it typically bombs horribly. But you can check it out. It's a few videos ago. I loved Badlands. My wife, who isn't even a Predator fan, loved Badlands, and I'm all about when series can branch out and reach new people in a way that doesn't feel disingenuous. And I thought Badlands was very earnestly made. I didn't think it was like this Disneyfied shill garbage like some people are making it out to be because they can't handle a different kind of Predator movie. I can. I've spent my life reading Dark Horse Predator comics, thousands of Predator toys and books and novels and graphic novels and all sorts of stuff. Love the series, and I thought this was a necessary step into kind of a new world when it comes to the series. So all about it. Review bomb 85, my boy Adam. Reviews on my channel also bomb badly, so I get it. He fully reviews movies, so that's not the statement you want to hear. But guys, if you like my channel, please check out Review Bomb. We've done some collaborative videos in the past that, as he has mentioned, bombed wildly. And doesn't matter. We still are good buddies. I would like to make more content with Mr. Review Bomb, but I haven't done really any collaborative stuff because I'm so kind of uni-focused on making my channel happen at this point, and I have so little free time with the baby. I really have to schedule things very specifically. Like this kind of live stream thing, I wish I could do more of, but like I really, it's rare that I can get away to work on my projects in an efficient amount of time. Thankfully, my wife really is incredibly supportive when it comes to this kind of stuff. She's really helped me. Any of the videos that you've seen since I've had the baby 4 months ago are fully give her credit for them even existing. They could not exist without her help. So yeah, it's been tough, but and I would like to make more collaborative stuff, but yeah, I've been just laser focused on trying to make this happen. And, I've had to take a very different route. I started as a movie reviewer and always intended to be a movie reviewer. And I found very quickly that the movie review space on YouTube is absolutely flooded to the fucking brim. And it doesn't matter if you're good. I mean, I think Adam's fantastic more than Chris Stuckman. I'd rather watch Adam Review Bomb's videos than Chris Stuckman. And Chris Stuckman's a millionaire from fucking making YouTube videos. So, it's almost like the people who got famous first for reviewing movies on YouTube are still famous and they aren't being replaced. So it's just like everyone's kind of waiting for the next generation of people to come out. And it's why, like, I was on Dark Hour stream. He seems to be like part of the crew of kind of the next people after Critical Drinker and EFAP to come into it. And I'm kind of hoping to be there with them, but it's all up to fate, my guys. I am covering some pretty out there niche stuff, so can't expect that I'm going to be, even my best found footage videos that get up to 60, 70,000 views, it takes a while because there's not a lot of us out there. It's not like 100 million people looking for found footage every day. It just doesn't exist. But I'm trying to, it's the concept of you do one for them, you do one for you, back and forth. And that's what I've been doing is like, I'll make the found footage video, but then I'm going to make something that I want to do that probably is going to get bombed in the algorithm. And I'm hoping that one day they'll both be on even ground, and I'm never going to stop making both kinds. So, like, I know a lot of people have been like, they want me to just focus on the found footage. It's just not going to happen. I'm always going to be thinking of new stuff, going around into new avenues, into new genres. But I'll never abandon found footage. It's a genre that I've been in love with for decades. I grew up obsessing over found footage, and that's just not going to change. I'm just glad I finally found a crew of people and a community of people that like it too, because all of my roommates over the years and all of my buddies, most of them aren't, they don't dig found footage, and I don't blame them. It's niche for sure. Has its issues, and it also has its masterpieces that people haven't seen. There are so many people out there that like love movies and that love great movies and haven't seen Lola and haven't seen Butterfly Kisses and haven't seen Man Bites Dog or Incantation or The Medium. And if you haven't seen a single movie that I just mentioned, you're missing some of the greatest movies that have ever been made. And whether they're found footage or not, doesn't matter. I mean, I think that, there's a lot of people that say that found footage is dead. Insane take. Because the more we get closer to our technology, the more we get closer to our cell phones, our computers, our screens, it's becoming more relevant. Some of the found footage I've seen is more prescient and current and real and raw feeling than anything coming out of the horror space. So never going to bail on found footage. And I think it's crazy that people, you know, think that it's just this completely dead genre when it's actually more alive than even the mainstream horror genre. There are more at this point worthwhile found footage movies per year coming out than regular mainstream horror movies. I watched 5 this week for my new list that are incredible, that I'd rather watch more than Weapons, that I'd rather watch more than most mainstream horror releases, and no one's heard of them. I mean, the movie that I talked about earlier, Masking Threshold. If you weren't in the chat yet, for some of the latecomers here, I gave up one of my choices for you guys to have from one of my new lists coming up, and that's this movie, Masking Threshold. It's a found footage movie unlike anything you'll ever see in your life, and it's a movie unlike anything you'll ever see in your life. You have to check it out. It's on Tubi. Masking Threshold, incredible, intellectually genius movie. So yeah, never gonna kind of let that down, and I think I've seen such success covering that genre with directors reaching out to me all the time, and just people really wanting to get involved with my videos in that genre. Yeah, it's a main focus for sure, but it's not the only one. And hopefully people like all my other stuff too, but only time will tell. As for that, let's see. I watch more found footage than anything else these days. Watching Masking Threshold tonight. Good choice. Prepare to be like pretty disturbed. It's very cerebral movie. I mean, it's the only movie I think I've ever seen where like you're really in somebody's headspace while they're going through a total paranoid breakdown. And for the fact that you never see the main character, I mean, it's insane. And if you do watch that movie, like I said, and you do find it impressive, just move on to Solvent. Give it a couple days because you're going to need a break. But then watch that director's next movie, Solvent, starring Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite, actually, strangely enough, who was on White Lotus this past year. But that movie was also one of the most insane movies I've ever seen. It's basically about a recovery team that like recovers artifacts out of like mold infested buildings or something to that effect, finding a pipe in the ground that potentially connects to like the melted body of like a Nazi general who's become liquid after some experiment. It's insane. I mean, like this dude's movies, I can't even describe them. They're insane so far. So yeah, Masking Threshold and Solvent, 2 of the craziest found footage movies I've ever seen. Got to see them. They're going to be on my next list. And the third movie, Rasenfest, I think it's called Rasenfest. It's supposed to be more of comedic. I haven't seen that yet, but if all 3 are incredible, I don't know. I may have to do my own separate video on it. I have no idea if I can put 3 movies from the same trilogy, maybe as one listing in a found footage video. But anyway, to anybody out there that's taken my Rex this year, to anybody out there that's supported the channel, supported me, and the $2 that Adam sent me that will now keep me fed for the rest of the night. I love you. Thank you for everything you guys have done for me and for my community this year. Check out Adam, his channel, Review Bomb. Excellent stuff. He just released a video praising Andor season 1, which full send, obviously, on my from my point of view as well. And yeah, guys, it was awesome to spend some time with you. And yeah, I guess that's it. Be well. Have a blessed 2026. I will be seeing you very soon. Like I said, next video, Friday, 3:30 p.m., Disturbing Docs 3. Until then, thank you for everything, guys. Love you. Thanks for hanging out. It was a great time. Bye.